It's 6 o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines are warning that ambulance drivers are falling asleep at the wheel. Bedfordshire's Chief Constable steps down from the job, and a lucky escape after the collapse of a car showroom in Milton Keynes.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Unions are calling for better conditions for ambulance staff in beds and Herts after claims that some have fallen asleep at the wheel due to long working hours. Unison's East of England branch has released a video which shows staff talking about how scared they are about making clinical errors and causing accidents. This worker says they can get too tired.
I think the most I've ever done is 370 miles in one shift. It's too much. 15, 16 hours is becoming a big problem. And I ended up nearly going to the back of a car. I had to do emergency stop. And we had to stop and take a break because we're just too tired.
The Chief Constable of Bedfordshire Police has announced she is retiring just 2 years into the job. Colette Paul says that after 33 years' service, she wants to spend more time with her family. It'll come as a serious blow to the Police and Crime Commissioner Ollie Martins, who recently lost a referendum to raise council tax and provide the force with more officers. A quick-thinking employee raised the alarm just minutes before the roof caved in at a car showroom in Milton Keynes. The worker heard a noise and managed to get everyone out of the building before disaster struck at the Audi showroom in Bletchley yesterday. Gail Sanderson reports.
About 20 cars parked on a roof fell through into the workshop below. They were left buried in rubble. The showroom, which is owned by the Jardine Motors Group, was their only showroom built to that specification and opened last November. An investigation is being carried out by officials from the Building Control Department and Milton Keynes Council, and the Health and Safety Executive has been informed.
Dog owners may soon be forced to walk their pets on a lead in certain public areas of Hertfordshire. Three Rivers District Council is proposing the move following concerns about some dogs upsetting other members of the public. The government's cutting costs in the NHS by reviewing the pay of senior managers and capping the rates paid to agency staff. More than £3 billion was spent on temporary doctors and nurses last year. Claire Billness, who runs the HCL Locum Agency, says approved rates have already been agreed.
It's the enforcement of these rates that has been a problem in the past. So whilst we welcome these caps on hourly rates, it's important to ensure that the NHS is given the tools and the support to ensure that these things are enforced. And I would encourage the government, the Department of Health and the NHS to work with the industry to bring about these changes.
In sport, Andy Murray is through to the quarter-finals of the French Open after a 4-sets win over Jeremy Chardy, and England's cricketers will resume on 44 without loss in the second test against New Zealand, needing 455 to win. The weather will be cloudy with rain this morning, turning brighter this afternoon but still windy. Top temperatures around 19 degrees Celsius, that's 66 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
In this modern world of ours, where all is push and shove, everybody's got to have something he can love. Some folk like to spend their lives on horses, dogs and booze. Others pass their time away with monkeys, lions and gnus. But me, poor! I like birds, birds, birds. Poor! Any kind of bird. Nothing seen or heard thrills me like a bird. I like birds, birds, birds. You can take my word, there ain't nothing like a bird, bird, bird. There's a throttle-throated, plushy-coated, lushy little thrush who twitters every evening by me door. She whistles up near oh lots of lovey-dovey slush. It makes me feel so poor. I like a bird who rests on me hairy chest, where she's built a nest in my old string vest. I like birds, birds, birds. You can take my word, there ain't nothing like a bird, a bird, a bird. I like birds, birds, birds. I like birds. I used to keep mice, I'd be a sensation with an oar. I've often fancied a poodle. I like birds. Not like I fancy a bird. Off me porridge. Football and cricket have had it. I love birds.
Hey, I tell you what, can we play My Brother as well? Terry Scott, My Brother, I love that. Do you know that song?
Yeah, I think I do know.
Can we dig it out? Let's play that after past. It's brilliant. It's National Terry Scott Day today. What are you doing to celebrate?
I'm going to be called June.
Hey! That sitcom ran for 38 years.
They must have been tired.
Hey! Morning, guys. Iain Lee. Hey, by the way, Kelly.
It's good to have you back.
Thank you. Busy show this morning. I say that. I've literally not looked at it. I've had 2 hours sleep. I feel fat because I am fat. Today's the day the teddy bears have their picnic. Here we go, guys.
Across
Here we go.
Bucks and Bucks.
Fortunately for you, it's all in hand.
Yeah. Oh.
Radio.
Oh. You just did that just flash up on the television? That
Yeah.
news?
Yeah, it
Do we have breaking news, dear listener?
Charles Kennedy, former leader of the Liberal Democrats, has passed away.
Gosh, do we know any more than that?
Nope.
Okay, well we know that he was. The instant assumption to make is it was his alcoholic demons that might have had something to do with it, but we don't know that. But he's passed away. That's very sad, isn't it? Right. We'll have more on that throughout the show, as and when it happens. Good morning. Let's say good morning to the team. Good morning to it's Kelly, isn't it?
Yep.
And the other lady. Good morning.
What, me?
Yeah. Well, I don't see any other ladies. Other lady.
You've never called me a lady before.
That ain't no lady.
That's my producer.
That's my wife. Good evening, lady. That's right. I'm stalling while I try and find a good song because there's no way I'm playing Sam Smith or the Bee Gees.
What's wrong with Sam Smith?
He's a Bee Gee. Hang on a minute. We'll find something good. Here we go. Hang on. Don't worry. Hang on a minute. It's going to be one of those shows, guys.
When isn't it?
Listen to me printing out.
Don't print out live on air, mate.
Have some of that.
Hey! I really should have planned this show better. Hang on. Hang on. I don't want to play I Like Birds
I might
again.
have one for you.
And again.
How's that?
This'll do. Yeti, get in there.
We come on this loop, John B. My grandfather and me. Around Nassau town we did roam. Drinking all night. Got into a fight. Well, I feel so broken. I wanna go home. So hoist up the John B. sail. See how the mainsail sets. Call for the captain ashore. Let me go home. Let me go home. I wanna go home. Yeah, yeah. Well, I feel
guys. Now, the Chief Constable of Bedfordshire has announced she's retiring after just 2 years on the job. In a message to colleagues, Colette Paul said after 33 years of service, she was retiring to spend more time with her family and to travel. It's all right for some, isn't it, eh? Catherine's got more on this, but not a lot more on this because, it kind of happened quite late last night, didn't it? And surprised everybody.
It did. We got the news about 9 o'clock last night, and we've only really just got used to having her around. Although it has to be said, over the last few months, it's been
yes.
Well, it's been a bit quiet, hasn't it? We've been asking to speak to Colette, and for one reason or another, she's not been available. But still, 2 years into the job, barely 2 weeks after Ollie Martin's referendum, Colette Paul's announced she's taking early retirement. Now, you'll remember the Chief Constable came back in May 2013 and really had to hit the ground running because there'd been 16 gun-related crimes in Luton in the first part of that year. There was a spate of tit-for-tat attacks between rival gang members, Lucy Farm and Marsh Farm. Don't you remember? We come into work and there was something new had happened
every week.
It seemed relentless, but there were a coordinated series of raids and arrests, and that all calmed down. More recently, Colette Paul's had to oversee a counter-terrorism initiative, something she'd had experience of in previous positions elsewhere in the country, along with some really serious sort of social tensions sparked by the death in custody of Leon Briggs back in November 2014. So a lot of people were surprised when, against that backdrop, she gave permission for Channel 4 cameras to come into Luton Police Station to film this documentary. Do you remember? People thought, this could go horribly wrong. 24 hours in police custody was questioned and criticised at the time, but actually I think most people now think it was a move that paid off when the force really needed to reconnect with the public.
The first couple of episodes were good, then they got a bit boring, didn't they?
And also people were wondering how they were going to... there were some serious significant markers in the Leon Briggs case during the time that was supposed to be aired, but it was taken off air around the times when things were particularly sensitive, which was a smart move.
You're freestyling, baby, so
yeah.
I'm just going with you.
Well, and they're still working on reconnecting with the public, something that a lot of police forces have to concentrate on at the moment, especially when it's increasingly difficult given the financial constraints many of them are under. Ollie Martins, in particular in Bedfordshire, was trying to sort out the county's problem by getting a bigger slice of the council tax recently with that referendum 2 weeks ago. So if Colette Paul came into a challenging patch 2 years ago, whoever replaces her will have no less of a challenge.
Gosh.
You'll know that a recent report by Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary has raised concerns about response times and reduction of frontline officers. So without a huge cash injection, which looks highly unlikely from the government, someone's going to have to work some serious magic in Bedfordshire.
Catherine, thank you very much.
Some girls love to run around, love to handle everything they see. But my girl has more fun around, and you know she'd rather be with me. Me, oh my, lucky guy is what I am. Tell you why, you'll understand. She don't fly, although she can. Some boys love to run around, they don't think about the things they do. But this boy wants to settle down, and you know he'd rather be with you. Me, oh my, lucky guy is what I am. Tell you why, you'll understand. She don't fly, although she can. Some girls love to run around, love to handle everything they see. But my girl has more fun around, and you know she'd rather be with, she'd rather be with, you know she'd rather be with me.
Let's be having you.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's still quiet this morning in Bishop Stortford on the A120 Bishop Stortford bypass. There's temporary traffic lights between the M11 Junction 8 for the Birchanger services and Stansted Road, so that could cause some delays. And on the A10 southbound, there's a lane closed for roadworks between the A10 at the Hardiston roundabout and Great Cambridge Road at the Turnford New River Trading Estate. Looking at the cameras on the CCTV cameras, and it does look really wet on the motorway, so surface spray and visibility could be a problem. And on the trains, Great Northern have possible delays between Hatfield and Welwyn Garden City because of a signalling problem earlier, but Virgin Trains East Coast are back to normal again after some delays between Stevenage and King's Cross with a problem with the line side equipment that has now been fixed. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
I've got to ask you, Samantha, what are you doing to celebrate National Terry Scott Day today?
I don't know who Terry Scott is. I'm sorry, who is he? I don't know who he is. Hang on, can I Google him? Terry Scott.
Goodbye, Sammy. Goodbye, Sammy. Unbelievable. As Dealey has just reminded me, thank you, Justin. Terry Scott, local and vocal, lived in Watford. Boom. National Terry Scott Day. Your Terry Scott memories, please, as we campaign to get him a posthumous knighthood. I think that can be done. Why the hell not? We're Britain, we can do what we want. 6:16, it's Tuesday. It is the 2nd of June. June? I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The Chief Constable of Bedfordshire Police, Colette Paul, has announced she's retiring just 2 years into the job. Ambulance drivers in Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire claim they're so overworked they're falling asleep at the wheel. And dog owners in the Three Rivers area of Hertfordshire could soon be forced to walk their pets on a lead. Dealey, can you take Terry Scott to the streets, please? Let's get some wonderful memories of a British legend.
BBC Three Counties Radio. If you've missed any of the programmes here on BBC Three Counties Radio, you've missed things like this.
Did the drugs in his mouth kill him?
No, they didn't.
Okay. Did they play a part in his death?
He had 4 glasses of champagne, 2 bottles of wine, 4 cocktails. What's 2 French?
I have a feeling it was a cocktail as well.
But there is a way you can hear it all again.
And Renata Blower, you have just allowed the first ever nurse to be funded for Great Ormond Street who will deal specifically with children who have undiagnosed conditions.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Well, the Police and Crime Commissioner for Bedfordshire, Ollie Martins, joins me in the studio. Were you wrong to go ahead with this referendum?
But what was the alternative? As I've said, that was not a situation that I was prepared to just sit there and do nothing about.
Allowing you to listen to what you missed.
Do nothing about.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
I think I can do a good Ollie Martins, Justin. I need a bit more work. How you doing, fella?
Yeah, very good. And Terry Scott, yeah, very much local and vocal. He was a Watford boy, and I'm sure there are people out there
Plenty of memories.
who even went to school with Terry Scott.
Can you take it to the streets, Just?
With pleasure and delight.
John! It was good. We might play My Brother later on. I love that song.
Please. It's in my folder. It's there.
We got it. I can see it. I can see it. Hang on. If I drag that across, does that work or does that? Because it doesn't always work. Yes, it's there.
You won't believe this.
Wait, yeah, go on.
When I first started doing a request programme, for the first month, that was the most requested track.
Was it really?
It was.
Well, then let's relive those memories, shall we?
Let's do it.
Classic.
Oh.
Here we go.
Phew, there's something funny around here. What is it? Oh, it's you. Come here and sit down. You're going to have the truth told about you and put on record. Here, please do not sit too close to me. I've just had my breakfast. Thank you. Who put salt in the sugar bowl? Who put fireworks in the coal? Who put a real live toad in the hole? My brother. Who put jam in mother's shoe? Who made real caterpillar stew? Who locked granddad in the loo? My brother said it wasn't he who put shampoo in grandma's tea. My brother said that it was me. My brother's rotten. Who squeezed toothpaste round the hall? Who put soot in the baby's ball? Who drew things on the garden wall? My brother. You ought to see what he drew. Oh, what a surprise. Nobody knew what it was really, but everybody had a jolly good idea. And he wrote slogans. Down with young mothers, that was one. Because he don't think my mum knows how to bring us up right. I don't think so either. You know, every night when we're wide awake, she makes us go to bed. And then in the morning when we're fast asleep, she makes us get up. Whose pet mouse made Auntie shriek? Who ate glue and couldn't speak? What clever dick was sick for a week? My brother. Who keeps maggots in a tin? Plays the twist on his violin? Who's been getting at the gin? My brother. He looks just like a chimney sweep, but dirt, they say, is just skin deep. I know he's good when he's asleep, but you don't know what he's dreaming about, do you? Who wouldn't mind if I ride his bike? Who lets me shoot his gun if I like? Who says I'm best at football, ludo, snakes and ladders, hide and seek, chasing each other up and down the garden, pinching little girls up the high street? Well, he's got to say I'm best because I'm bigger than he is, and if he don't say I'm best at everything, I'll bash him. Ha ha! My lovely, lovely brother. Come on, mate, let's get out of here before you fall down the hole in the middle. Come on, give us your hand. We're going to walk. Here, what have you had in your hand? Have you? 4.
Come on, Kelly, you love that. Kelly didn't want to love it, but she loved it.
Oh, the ending.
Do you like that, Kels?
Yeah, it's fun.
Nice little observation on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds a lot like John Gaunt. He does though, doesn't he?
Oh, who said that?
Edward.
Oh, Edward.
Two geniuses, Terry Scott and
John
man on Twitter. Wow.
Scott and Gaunt, you never heard them in the same podcast, did you? Well, I enjoyed that, and I'm glad Kelly enjoyed that. That's what my childhood sounded like, Justin. We didn't have, like, pop groups for 6 and 7 year olds then. 6 and 7 year olds weren't into real music. We listened to that and the Funky Gibbon.
Yeah, absolutely. Great times.
Great! Oh, man.
I can't wait to take this one to the streets. I shall report back before 7.
Now, listen, thank you. We'll speak to you about that. It's always a weird segue, isn't it, from Terry Scott to ambulance drivers who are falling asleep at the wheel. But that's what we have to do. Ambulance drivers claim they're being worked so hard they're falling asleep at the wheel. That's according to Unison's East of England branch, who are warning health bosses to step in before something terrible happens. Justin, they've released a video, haven't they?
They have, and it suggests this isn't just about having a quiet word in the boss's ear. This is a warning that they want to go further with this one. The film, it features a member of Unison. The members, they're talking about the increasingly long hours they're working and the fears as well about what it could be doing to their performance. They talk in this video about worrying they're too tired to give their best to patients, and those who drive say they're very concerned they're going to be falling asleep at the wheel. In fact, one man says that some of his colleagues have already done just that, which is very concerning.
And there's mention of clinical mistakes, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, some of the workers talk about needing to be able to assess patients in the first instance and then deciding the best course of action, such as administering drugs. There's a fear that crews coming to the end of their shift, they're exhausted, and this officer here is worried either herself or somebody will be killed.
I think the most I've ever done is 370 miles in one shift. It's too much. 15, 16 hours is becoming a big problem. And I ended up nearly going to the back of a car. I had to do emergency stop. And we had to stop and take a break because we're just too tired. It does worry me greatly that either I myself or somebody will be killed before long, and we lose people earlier than we should in this job.
Well, it's a powerful message. I suggest that I've not actually seen the video. I suggest the music detracts slightly from the message. What is Unison saying, Just?
Well, the East of England branch Secretary Freya Stevenson says that frontline staff do an amazing job, but of course they're only human. Freya goes on to say the situation's got a lot worse over the years, and in the last 12 months they've lost, get this, 230 frontline staff, which represents 10% of the total workforce. workforce. Most trusts, she says, lose around 130 workers through retirement every year. Many felt constantly exhausted from the relentless pressure over late finishes. Some broke down in tears and spoke about leaving the profession. And working for 12 hours is very demanding physically and often emotionally, and it's only right that at the end of their shift they can actually go home and rest.
What does the union want?
They're looking for a number of practical steps to address the situation. Quite a few of these. A number of them include a fatigue clause, which would allow frontline staff to safely identify when they need to return to base without fear of disciplinary action. The last 30 minutes of a shift to only include the immediately life-threatening or red one calls, so essentially not time-wasting calls. Booking crews out of service when their time to travel to base means they already incur a late finish. Removing less critical green one calls in the last 60 minutes and allowing crews to swap over with oncoming crews to prevent late finishes for non-time critical patients.
Well, Justin, I look forward to speaking to the East of England Ambulance Service later on the show. What time are they coming on, mate?
Can you guess what time they're coming on?
Oh,
Yeah,
no, they've not sent a statement, have they?
We invited them on to do what we do best on this programme. We present a talk radio programme, but sadly they've declined, but they've sent us a statement. It says, we recognise the impact late finishes have on our staff, and this is one of our top priorities to address. They also say we already have the most progressive late finish policies in place, and we have been working closely with Unison to develop proposals to help reduce late finishes. That's what they have to say.
Justin, I look forward to celebrating the magic of Terry Scott with you before 7.
Leave it to me, boss.
Thank you, buddy.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
starting to get busier on the M25 anti-clockwise. It's building up between junction 19 for Watford and 18 for Chorleywood, and it's also slow in Bricket Wood on the North Orbital Road at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. Elsewhere it's still quiet in Amersham. It's starting to look a little busy around Station Road where there's roadworks at the Rise, and on the trains Great Northern have possible delays between Hatfield and Welwyn Garden City because of a signalling problem earlier. They might be cancelled or delayed or revised at short notice. Also on the London Underground, if you're using that, the Circle Line and the Hammersmith and City Line have severe delays because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines. The Chief Constable of Bedfordshire Police has announced she's retiring just 2 years into the job. Colette Paul says that after 33 years' service, she wants to spend more time with her family. The former Liberal Democrat leader Charles Kennedy has died suddenly at his home in Fort William at the age of 55. Police say they're not treating his death as suspicious. And it's being claimed that ambulance staff in Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire are so overworked they're falling asleep at the wheel. Their union says staff have told them they're scared about making clinical errors and causing accidents. The weather will be cloudy with rain this morning, turning brighter this afternoon, but still windy with top temperatures around 19 degrees Celsius. That's 66 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England's cricketers will resume on 44 without loss in the second test against New Zealand, needing 455 to win. Despite the high target and the threat of rain, batsman Joe Root believes they can do it.
There is quite a bit of work to do, but we've got an opportunity to do something special. Obviously, rain coming in a way it's made things a little bit harder for us because we've got every intention of going out the view to win the game, so that obviously means we've got less time to do that now, but very positive, got off to a great start, and hopefully that can continue.
In tennis, Andy Murray will play David Ferrer in the quarter-finals of the French Open, while Rafa Nadal and Novak Djokovic face each other in the last 8. The British number one says playing Jeremy Chardy in front of a predominantly French audience spurred him on.
It was for sure the best match I've played in this tournament so far, and the crowd created a good atmosphere, and I always enjoy that. That's one of the challenges of being a professional sports person. When you come up against sort of home favourites and the crowd aren't there for you, you need to, find a way to motivate you, and I feel like I've done that well.
Liverpool is set to hold talks with Manchester City's James Milner this week as they close in on signing the midfielder on a free transfer. And the England fly-half Danny Cipriani has been arrested on suspicion of drink driving after a crash in his car. BBC Three Counties News and Sport with more at 7 o'clock.
Call 08459 455 555.
Okay.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, man alive. Fat today, Catherine.
Today.
I'm fat and you can hardly move. Not because of your girth, but because of you was doing the yoga.
I was put through my paces last night.
Hey, man alive. The yoga is hard work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I haven't used it turns out I have not used my shoulders.
Lift your arms. You can't do it. Look at that. They don't go up.
But I feel pumped.
Well,
so I give it a while, and I shall have buns of steel.
Because I always thought that yoga was was supposed to be kind of spiritual and all of that. It's not. It's hard work.
Well,
it's horrible.
There was a bit of that. You're supposed to be thinking Zen thoughts while you're I can't even use the word.
How are your chakras? Are your chakras aligned?
Oh, I haven't even started on my chakras yet. I'm just trying to get my legs to work.
08459 455 555. Any tips for Catherine Boyle to A, loosen up, and B, shut up about going to yoga all the blooming time?
You started it.
I know, but you only because I was picking up the conversation. I'm fat as well. I'm fat. I've got real. I need to lose a bit of weight.
I would say come to yoga, but I don't want you standing behind me or in front of me.
No. Hey, should we have a bit of Elton John and John Lennon?
Go on.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Elton and the boys for having me on tonight. We tried to think of a number to finish off with so that I could get out of here and be sick. And we thought we'd do a number of an old estranged fiancé of mine called Paul. This is one I never sang. It's an old Beatle number. and we just about know it.
She was just 17, and you know what I mean. And the way she looked was way beyond compare. How could I dance with another when I saw her standing there? Does she look at me, and I could see.
So, the question is, who gives a stuff about this dog or these dogs? I mean, I've managed to avoid the whole BGT, Britain's Got Talent, in case you're wondering, thing. I never do the Britain's Got Talent stories because we're falling into his trap, and we're falling into his trap now by even doing it. But so it wasn't one dog that won, it was two dogs that won. Who cares?
But we knew there was a stunt dog.
Did we know there was a stunt dog?
Yeah, well, according to papers, we knew there was a stunt dog.
Angry Simon Cowell has ordered an investigation after it emerged that Britain's Got Talent was on the front page of all the blooming newspapers again.
Oh, they love it.
Because of a stupid dog. I mean, why? That programme makes me want to jump off of a cliff.
I haven't watched any of it, and I'm pleased. I've not watched any Big Brother either.
I'm not getting paid to watch Big Brother, so I haven't watched none either.
I feel like I'm decontaminating myself by not watching these things.
Oh,
but then,
you're getting all pure back to the yoga, isn't it?
well, yeah, it totally is. But then you go on Twitter, and I feel like I've watched it because everyone's talking about it.
So it's a woman. It's a woman dressed up as a... Well, that's obviously not a police dog.
No, she's a dog trainer.
So why is she impersonating... Okay, first things first. Why is she impersonating a police officer? That's against the law. Let's arrest her. Let's arrest her and then execute the dog.
Whoa.
What?
That escalated.
Well,
why are we executing
if
it?
If we had twins winning Britain's Got Talent by cheating, we'd execute one of the twins, execute one of the dogs.
Fair play.
Of course we would. It's obvious. I just don't... And people actually make... People picked up their telephones and dialed a number to say they thought a dog with a woman impersonating a police officer was entertaining. That's what this country's come to. We're all doomed. We're not going to hell in a handcart. We're in hell and in a handcart. We're not in the thin end of the wedge. We're at the fat end of the wedge now.
We are the wedge.
The wedge is so fat that sat on it. And it hurts. It really hurts. You know what this is?
I think it's just gone politically correct.
Completely, my friend. Blooming dogs impersonating dogs, women impersonating police officers. Hey, who does she look like? Dressed up like that?
Police officer?
Yeah, which police officer? Or which former police officer?
Which soon-to-be former.
That's Colette Paul.
Ah, maybe that's why she's taking early retirement.
There we go. The woman that owns the fake dogs. She could be the new Colette Paul. This is brilliant. There's 2 dogs, there's 2 Colette Pauls. Perfect.
Handy.
Handy, isn't it? What you got in the papers?
Well, a number of things.
Any mention of National Terry Scott Day today in the papers?
Nothing
I've not
at
spotted
all. For some reason, everyone's fascinated with Kim Kardashian's stepdad becoming a woman, and a fine-looking Cindy Crawford impersonator she is too. I would like to see it without the airbrushing, but fair play, it's quite a transformation.
Yes. Giles is furious with us.
Why?
Could you play something newer than this crap? But then, get this, Kels, you're young, right? Could you play something newer than this crap? Like Eminem or 50 Cent. All right, mate. Oh, your finger's on the pulse. Hey, your finger's on the pulse from about 10 years ago, Grandpa.
Does he write 50 Cent? Because everyone knows it's Fiddy.
50 Cent. Thought for a minute I was listening to BBC North. Oh, Giles!
Tell you what.
Oh, Giles!
Tell you what, why don't you take the doubt out of it and jog on to North?
Yeah, go on, Giles. We don't need you. We don't need no Giles Davis.
Anyway, thanks for your comments.
Thank you, Giles. Great to have you on board. Hey, the boring one out of Pink Floyd, and that's saying something.
Which one? The one that looks like Richard Gere or the one that looks like Bumble?
The one that looks like Richard Gere is a big fan of fox hunting.
Yeah.
I knew there was a reason I didn't like Pink Floyd's music. I just couldn't work it out, and now I know why. It's because he's a plum.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, continuez-vous.
Office workers should stand for at least 2 hours a day to avoid neck and back pain, new advice suggests.
Oh, I hate new advisors.
And the period should eventually be increased to 4...
The period?
The period?
The period? Yeah, bring it on! I think we should all have a 2-hour period. Hick! The period was too long.
We could in the new place, couldn't we?
I can't come into work today. I'm on my period.
Oh, God. Oh,
There's a few people that do that here, I've noticed.
Oh.
Office workers should stand for at least 2 hours a day to avoid neck and back pain, new advice suggests. And the period should eventually be increased to 4 hours a day, with standing-based work and regular walkabouts becoming the norm. Yeah, OK.
Yeah, OK, guys. Oh, that's a way to save money by not having desks and chairs. No, thanks. No, thanks. Hey, now, this is I'm going to read a horrible crime. Great to have you back, Kels. This crime is horrible.
Why did you look at her when you said horrible crime?
Well, because she was yawning. And it caught my eye. The yawn caught my eye. But I wasn't going to draw attention to it. This is a horrible crime, okay, that I'm about to read. It's not in any way funny. It's attacks on pensioners. It's not funny.
Oh, I know what it is.
Man, 49, charged with slapping 5 sneezing OAPs on the head. I know Kelly's so upset that she's crying. Yeah.
What do you mean sneezing?
They sneeze and he slapped them.
What do you mean sneezing?
They sneezed and he wanted to slap them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it.
A man has been charged with launching a series of bizarre attacks on pensioners for sneezing in public. Don't cry, darling. They're all right. They're all right. Stephen Jackson, 49, is accused of approaching elderly people and slapping them across the head.
What's his beef with sneezes?
Dirty.
Did they not cover their mouth?
Officers described the
Would that justify it, Kelly, would it?
No, I'm just asking.
Officers described the 5 alleged attacks, which are not thought to have caused injury, as highly unusual. In February, a 65-year-old was allegedly slapped on the head after sneezing outside a bar.
Why is the location relevant?
The following month, police were contacted by a 77-year-old lady who claimed that she too had been targeted. A day later, an 82-year-old told officers she'd been struck on the head by a man after sneezing while shopping.
What's wrong with bless you?
I mean, guys, that's just... Well, we used to have that at school. You'd be spammed. You go up and spam someone. Did you never spam? Did you have spam?
No.
No, you go up... Can I spam you?
Is that spam head?
Yeah. So I'll give you a spam.
Go on. Oh.
We used to have banzai as well. That was much worse.
What's banzai?
That was you'd get your hand, all of your fingers into a point.
Oh, I
and
don't like that.
You go up to a boy and you go banzai. Right in the old. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Tough times. Tough times, guys. But let's be honest, fun bands. 08459 455 555. Kelly, rack up those Terry Scott calls. We'll come to them straight after this.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
My name's Sammy Bruff, and on the roads it's going to be Elaine is having a bad day, and it's going to be really busy and stuff. But the trains are okay, and my boyfriend plays acoustic guitar, and the roads are a bit wet today. Turns out her job is harder than I thought.
Really tricky.
Speaking in that voice, that irritating voice makes it tougher, doesn't it? That's what really. Is she coming or?
Yeah, she's just doing Kent.
What?
Oh, here we go. Hello, Sammy.
Hello.
How was Kent? Worth us waiting
how
for,
did
was
you know
it?
It was Kent.
Sorry?
How did you know that I was talking to Kent?
I was listening, mate.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
clever.
Was it worth us waiting for?
I hope that. Hopefully they appreciated it, but I don't know. But would you like to know about the travel for Three Counties?
We kind of done it.
Yeah.
You've done it already.
Yes.
Why, you don't need me then?
It's going to be a bit rainy today, so be careful on the roads. It's going to be a lot of traffic.
You should just do that too. You don't need me.
And the trains are going to be a bit crowded and a bit stinky. Can you beat that?
Well, I can say they're going to be delayed. Where are they going to be delayed?
On the tracks.
They're going to be delayed between Hatfield and Welwyn Garden City because of a signalling problem. And it's busy on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 20 for Kings Langley and 19 for Watford, and everywhere else is okay at the moment. There you go.
My name's Sammy Bruff, and you're listening to BBC Radio Kent. Peace out, guys. It's 6:47. It's Tuesday, the 2nd of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The Chief Constable of Bedfordshire Police, Colette Paul, has announced she's retiring just 2 years into the job. The former leader of the Liberal Democrats, Charles Kennedy, has died suddenly at the age of 55. And ambulance drivers in Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire claim they are so overworked they're falling asleep at the wheel. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's unseasonably windy outside today, and the Met Office has a yellow weather warning in place for the strong winds. Gusts of 40-50 miles per hour entirely possible through much of today, accompanied by some light rain and some drizzle. Most of the heavy stuff has moved eastwards, but we could still get a little bit of rain continuing through the course of the morning. Brightening up and drying out a little this afternoon, but one thing we don't lose is the breeze. Maximum temperature potentially 19 Celsius. Now overnight, still breezy, some clear spells. In fact, by the end of the day, the sun sets around 9:20. We could actually see a bit of sunshine before it sets, then some clear spells overnight. Staying breezy at least until dawn tomorrow morning. Minimum temperature in double figures at 10 Celsius. A much improved day tomorrow. Drier, brighter, calmer conditions. The wind a lot lighter. Some sunshine around tomorrow morning and a maximum temperature of 19 Celsius. And that's your forecast.
Every weekday morning.
Coming up at 9 on the Big Phone In this morning, is it a good idea to make jobless teenagers work for their benefits?
How would you like this country to stand up to President Putin? Are you surprised to see British people being blatantly racist?
The JVS Show.
I think we've got to get over this issue about racism doesn't exist. It has existed. It will probably carry on existing.
What I wanted to say is they've got this completely the wrong way around. You know, that is also true. That is also true.
You will always get some, but they are such a minority.
I think the man's a buffoon. Get him up, get him out of bed, give him a sense of purpose.
The JVS Show.
Do you think we have got to, as a country, start taking this issue more seriously?
Every weekday morning on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, Mr. Pleasant. How is Mrs. Pleasant? I hope the your brother has your brand new limousine, 24-inch TV screen. Is she like prosperity more than you like poverty? Life is easier, so much easier. Life is easier now. Oh, Mr. Pleasant, how is Mrs. Pleasant? Did you know she was flirting around with another young man? And he's taking her out when you have to work late, 'cause it's not so pleasant after all. Hey, hey, how are you today? People say Mr. Pleasant, Mr. Pleasant, Mr. Pleasant, Mr. Pleasant, Mr. Pleasant. Some say Mr. Pleasant. As long as Mr. Pleasant's alright. Hey, hey, how are you today?
Enjoying that, Just?
Oh, what a tune.
Isn't it a tune?
Oh, beautiful. Thanks. Never hear it.
You never hear that one. I like that one. Oh, Justin.
Boss.
Oh, mate, it's National Terry Scott Day. How you feeling?
Do you know what? Feeling high on life.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got you. I've got everyone a little Terry Scott cake, and I've got some Terry Scott cards to hand out later on, guys.
Such a great guy.
Thank you, wasn't he, Just? You've taken this to the street, Just.
I have, and you know, Terry Scott, of course, local and vocal, born and bred in Watford, in Hertfordshire.
I spat everywhere then. I love that phrase, local and vocal.
Local and vocal.
Yeah.
But it won't surprise you to know that Terry Scott is not just famous in this part of the world, and of course across the UK, but he's famous worldwide.
What?
Lots of perspectives coming up here. I've taken Terry Scott to the streets. Here's what happened.
Terry Scott, yeah, fantastic. June Whitfield, proper old-fashioned comedy.
An absolute leg end, correct?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Paul, let's get the Polish perspective. Going to put a name your way, okay? Yeah. Tell me the first thing that comes into your mind, okay? Terry Scott.
Legend.
So, you're a classy guy, but even classy guys love Terry Scott, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, what's your memories of Terry? Take us back.
He had a wife called June, didn't he?
You're laughing. Sir, I think we've lifted your day straight away. Thank you very much. Let's get the Nigerian perspective. Sir, if I said to you, my brother, what would come into your mind straight away?
Terry Scott.
Wow. He's famous worldwide. Thanks for your time. Have a good day, by the way.
Thank you.
Wow, he is famous worldwide.
He is.
Oh, Justin, we get paid for this.
Well, it's just, you know, if you go onto the streets and you ask people a simple question, they often give a simple answer. And Terry Scott, as we've heard this morning, that, by the way, wasn't in like most radio stations would do. They spend a whole day on that. That was in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I could give you 3 hours worth of people talking great memories about Terry Scott.
Calm down.
Let's save that for the Christmas special.
Yeah.
What we're going to send Justin out on, I've got an idea.
Come on. Do you know what today? I'm going to be in my town. If you want to meet the dog, I'm going to be at Adeyfield Square, Hemel Hempstead. This radio car, we've only got it for about another week or so. It's my last full week in the radio car. I'm going to get out and about.
We're double H in it today.
Well, the fact that he's in that mood instantly makes me worry about this thing that I've come up with.
Oh.
You've seen the Davina McCall thing?
Yes.
But he's in that kind of mood.
It's my town, though, don't worry. My town, my people.
Wife's job is to keep a man happy in bed, says Davina. Oh, Davina,
She didn't quite say that.
You could keep me happy in bed any time you want. I think Davina McCall is, I'm going to say this, the most beautiful woman in the world.
Wow.
She is beautiful.
It's the personality as well, isn't it? Come on, she's got it all. She has got the full package.
Her brash style might make you think Davina McCall is a thoroughly modern woman. But when it comes to domestic bliss, the TV presenter is rather old-fashioned. Now she's facing a backlash after telling women they must keep their men happy in bed. The 47-year-old mother of 3 also said she always makes sure she wears matching underwear to please her husband. Miss McCall who's been married to Matthew Robertson for 15 years, says, you must keep your husband satisfied in the bedroom department, even if you're absolutely exhausted. Otherwise, he will go somewhere else.
Ooh. There's an underlying insecurity there, though, that I think makes people...
Well, she is quite... I mean, she's had her issues in the past, hasn't she? And her demons and stuff. How do we phrase this into a question that isn't going to get Justin arrested?
No, I think we can keep it nice and simple.
Yeah?
I think we can say... I think we can... Why don't we ask men... do you know what? Your name's above the door, actually.
I actually think it's a question for the ladies' perspective.
I think the ladies' perspective, should you do anything to keep your man happy?
You see, by what Davina's saying there, she's almost saying that
even when she can't be bothered.
Well, yeah, she's saying
pretends.
She has to do it to keep him happy, but surely the key to it is that she actually enjoys herself.
Well,
do you know
she
what I'm
says
saying?
here at the end, have I ever started feeling tired and finished feeling very happy? Yes.
So you should do, like, that's what she does to keep her man happy. What do you do to keep your man happy?
There we go, Justin.
I think that's even worse, to be fair.
Oh,
wow, only in your mind.
Wow, can you imagine people in Hemel, the ladies in Hemel, answering that question?
Justin,
wow.
You can get gold out of this, I can feel it. Because there's a frisson, a tension.
Yeah.
This could go one way or the other, and I'm hoping it goes the other.
I'm going to be in Queen Square. AD Phil, come and see me, and I'll report back to you after 8 o'clock.
Ta-ta.
Cheers.
There we go. Well, even Justin was censoring himself. This is...
Well, they're his people, aren't they?
Yeah. What have you got?
Boy, this is a story that I don't think is all it seems in the papers. 2-year-old boy has been taken from his parents over concerns about cigarette smoking.
Oh, yeah, this is brilliant. It's in the Sun, yeah, because his parents smoke, so they took the kid away. But that's not the story.
That's not it at all. A judge has said the boy who had breathing problems should be put up for adoption, because it's not the story. Health visitor Julie Allen told a family court judge she had trouble breathing when she went into the house where the boy and his father were surrounded by a visible cloud of smoke. There's also other concerns. I mean, there's further down in the story here in bold, cocaine.
Yeah.
I think there might be other
if
issues
you
with
read
this
it,
family.
it depends what paper you read it in. The Sun, it's because they were smokers. In the Mirror, it's because, there was really thick, heavy smoke, but also the house was filthy, the kids were dirty, the boy was ill, there were electrical wires everywhere, and the parents were obviously unwell. So, the smoking thing is, well, it's nonsense. It's utter nonsense, isn't it? Hey, speaking of utter nonsense... Did you see someone argue... If you go to the Mirror, page 12...
Right.
Did you see someone argue... The Milton Keynes Audi car dealership yesterday...
Yeah, saw some pictures.
The floor collapsed and all the cars fell through. It's an incredible picture. There were people arguing with the Three Counties Twitter feed. Other social networks are available. Said, well, yeah, it's fake. No, it's not fake. Honestly, our photographers... No, it's fake. You can see it's faked. That picture's faked. It turns out it's not faked. Loads of cars fell through...
20 luxury cars plunged through a ceiling in a workshop floor yesterday, but amazingly no one was hurt.
Are they doing any discount on those cars? Because I need a new car.
One slightly bent red one.
Yeah?
Probably.
Catherine, I'm not looking at your shopping list. We're talking about cars.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1, there's a lane closed southbound after junction 13 for Bedford because a van's broken down that's causing some queues. On the M25, anti-clockwise, it's slow from junction 17 for Maple Cross to 16 for the M40. And having a look at the speed sensors coming out of Aylesbury on Buckingham Road, that's looking quite slow from the A418 towards Elmhurst Road. On the trains, Great Northern have delays between Hatfield and Welwyn Garden City because of a signalling problem earlier. And on the London Underground, the Circle Line and the Hammersmith and City Line have severe delays. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. Carpet Martin says, I'm celebrating #Terry Scott Day in bed with my Davina Super Body Workout DVD while pulling Terry's classic Huffing Gurn. Guys, it's time to put these childish toys to one side as we crawl out of the rabbit hole. Again.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: Bedfordshire's Chief Constable steps down from the job. The former Liberal Democrat leader Charles Kennedy has died. And a warning that ambulance drivers are falling asleep at the wheel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The Chief Constable of Bedfordshire Police has announced she is retiring just 2 years into the job. Colette Paul says that after 33 years' service, she wants to spend more time with her family. Paul Scoynes reports.
Ms Paul was appointed in May 2013 after serving as an Assistant Chief Constable in South Wales. This will come as a serious blow to the Police and Crime Commissioner Ollie Martins, who recently lost a referendum to raise council tax and provide the force with more officers. He will now begin the process of replacing her, and whoever takes charge will have to deal with fewer resources and the need to make even more savings over the next few years.
The former leader of the Liberal Democrats, Charles Kennedy, has died suddenly at the age of 55. The cause of his death is yet to be confirmed, but police aren't treating it as suspicious. Our deputy political editor, Norman Smith, says he was a leader who made his mark on his party.
A very gregarious, outgoing, friendly politician, always willing to talk and have a laugh with journalists and others, but that shouldn't cloud from the fact he was, in his time, a formidable politician. We shouldn't forget he led the Liberal Democrats to their best result for a long, long time in 2005 when he took a very deliberate and distinct line on the Iraq War against the prevailing consensus behind Tony Blair and Michael Howard all lining up in support of the war, but he very deliberately led the Liberal Democrats against that.
Unions are calling for better conditions for ambulance staff in Beds and Herts after claims that some have fallen asleep at the wheel due to long working hours. Unison's East of England branch has released a video which shows staff talking about how scared they are about making clinical errors and causing accidents. On it, this worker says they get too tired.
I think the most I've ever done is 370 miles in one shift. It's too much. 15, 16 hours is becoming a big problem. And I ended up nearly going to the back of a car. I had to do emergency stop, and we had to stop and take a break because we're just too tired.
Dog owners may soon be forced to walk their pets on a lead in certain public areas of Hertfordshire. Three Rivers District Council is proposing the move following concerns about some dogs upsetting other members of the public. In sport, England's cricketers will resume on 44 without loss in the second test against New Zealand, needing 455 to win. And Andy Murray's through to the quarter-finals of the French Open after a 4-sets win over Jeremy Chardy. The weather will be cloudy with rain this morning, turning brighter this afternoon but still windy, with top temperatures around 19 degrees Celsius, that's 66 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
Thank you, Lee. Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can boogie. Can you? Ladies, all the ladies in the house, I said, ladies, if you liked it, you should have put a ring on it. What do you do to keep your man happy? I know, it's 2015, and we've sent Justin Dealey out to ask that question. Oh, dear. It's been so nice working here.
I signed a contract.
Yeah, what? Mm-hmm. With whom?
My now husband.
Ah.
I wasn't allowed to moan about cricket.
No.
Damn it, why did I sign that?
Oh, and there's other bits and pieces. It's a weird kind of vibe. I've had like 3 hours sleep. I'm feeling fat. So, deal with it, guys. Just deal with it. I mean...
Beds, Herts and bucks.
Deal with it.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
You know the rules, though. We talk about this stuff and you can phone in about this stuff, or you can call in about anything you want. I mean, I'm not fussed.
Do what you like.
Do what you like. I've been spending a lot of time sleeping in my car recently. Yesterday, as you know, I drove to a local car park to have a sleep for an hour.
I was so tempted to just, come along.
I made the mistake of telling you where I was.
Yeah, I know.
And then a car pulled up next to me. I thought, oh, is that Catherine? Oh, flippin' heck, she's going to annoy me. But it wasn't. It was some bloke. Why would a bloke sit in a... Sorry?
Do?
What's going on? Huh? All right.
I get your mug every day.
Yeah, I know, but just never with that...
3 times a day.
No, never with the fury with which you opened that door.
That was a furious...
Oh, really?
That was a furious door open. I thought we'd upset you.
I didn't realise.
Is she all right?
So beef.
Oh, I'll worry about her. I feel so
Anyway.
protective towards her.
So a guy pulls up next to you
Why would you just sit in a car? Right, I was in the car park having a sleep, and by the way, I love sleeping in my car. I love it. I love it. But why would a guy just sit in a car park next to another man's car for an hour?
Maybe he'd come for a sleep too.
He looked wide awake. He looked very alert.
Hang on a minute. There weren't other cars there, were there?
Yeah, there were loads of cars. Yeah, there were loads of cars.
Were they flashing to each other?
Yeah, the lights were flashing and stuff. Yeah. I was lying prone. Anyway.
Some disappointed dog walkers there.
The Chief Constable of Bedfordshire has announced that she's retiring after just 2 years in the job. In a message to colleagues, Colette Paul said that after 33 years' service, she was retiring to spend more time with her family and to travel. Catherine, she's not been around for long, has she? She's kind of stopped coming in here.
Yeah, we noticed that.
Pretty honest, yes.
What would you say, the last 6 months? Maybe longer?
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a shame, because when she first came in, she was a refreshing change, wasn't
when she first came in, she was a refreshing change, although I remember she brought in some PR woman with her who was a right pain. Remember that? We
couldn't understand why the close approach, because the PR woman wanted to sit next to her, when actually Colette Paul was more than capable of handling by herself.
And then I said, and we're also joined by your PR woman. The PR woman's, no!
Don't refer to me.
She went nuts afterwards. She went nuts. Oh, didn't we play your game? I'm sorry. Anyway, so Colette Paul's going.
She's going 2 years into the job, and barely 2 weeks after Ollie Martin's referendum, Colette Paul's announced she's taking early retirement. Now, the Chief Constable came to us back in May 2013 and had to hit the ground running, because you'll remember there were 16 gun-related crimes. There was a real spate of sort of tit-for-tat violence in Luton in particular, and it seemed to be centred on the Lucy Farm and Marsh Farm area. It seemed relentless. It was barely a week went by at some points where something hadn't happened. But then there was a coordinated series of raids and arrests, and it all went quiet.
She's had a lot on her plate, hasn't she?
Yep, so she came in with that. Then more recently she's had to oversee counter-terrorism initiatives, something that she'd had experience of in previous positions elsewhere in the country and in Wales, along with some social tensions sparked by the death in custody of Leon Briggs back in November 2014, and that rumbles on. It was against that backdrop that she made the decision to allow Channel 4 cameras into Luton Police Station to film the documentary 24 Hours in Police Custody. A lot of eyebrows raised over that. It was at a very tense time for the police force in Luton, and a move that was questioned and criticised, but one that most people with hindsight think paid off at a time when the force really needed to reach out and reconnect with the public.
And they're still working on that, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's something that's increasingly difficult when they're having trouble getting a police presence out there, given the financial constraints Ollie Martins was trying to sort out by getting a bigger slice of the council tax. So if Colette Paul came in at a challenging time 2 years ago, whoever replaces her will have no less of a challenge when they come in. A recent report by Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary has raised concerns about response times and a reduction of frontline officers. And without a huge injection of cash from the government, which looks very unlikely, someone's going to have to work some serious magic.
Let's speak to Scoinsy after 8, because it was
Scoinsy's going to come in just before 8, actually, so we can speak to him next.
Beautiful, because he sent me a message last night going, I've heard a rumour that Colette Paul's about to stand down.
Very odd time to announce your retirement, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, 9 o'clock at night. It's a weird one. Ollie Martins is away, is he?
I'm not sure. I've tweeted him. I've tweeted Gavin Shuker. I will ring them up in
I think Ollie Martins is maybe on holiday, I think, but it will be good to get his perspective. Yeah. And your perspective, dear listener, she didn't come on here very often, but I always thought that she was feisty, and was determined. It's a shock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
she could handle herself, and I was always quite impressed by the responses she gave. She always seemed to, even if she couldn't promise things, she always seemed to be interested and concerned about things.
08459 455 555.
On FM, AM, online and digital radio.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
And here endeth the news. The papers have got the Sun today. If you finger the Sun today, it's very, very thin. There's very little in the papers today. I mean, the front page of the Sun is about this flipping dogs on that silly talent show, Britain's Got or Not. How can dogs keep winning that? I'm so bored of dogs and their dog acts. Dogs doing stuff. Unless, of course, it's Dogs Make You Laugh Out Loud, in which case I can't get enough of that show. Whoever does the voiceover for that is a legend. 08459 455 555. You can text as well, 81333. Start your text 3CR. What texts have we got, Boyle?
Maffin Hanslope talking about the dog. Before you criticise that dog for winning, it really sums up the standard of the other finalists. Other than the terrifying samurai sword-wielding 6-year-old girl, they were rubbish, according to Maff. She was quite good.
Of course they were rubbish. It's Britain's Got Talent. They're always rubbish. The only good act on that was the wee kid from Diversity, and the only good thing he did was when he got tossed off in front of Gordon Brown.
He's like 35 now, isn't he?
Yeah. Do you remember that? He was. They were doing it outside Downing Street, and Gordon Brown was watching, and the young lad got tossed off.
Wow.
I think he did himself a mischief.
Well, doing that and a backflip.
I think he landed on his head.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He got tossed off in front of Gordon Brown and landed on his head.
Youch.
I met them once at something, right? I was doing a job and they were there, and I had nothing to say to them. And all I could say to them was, it was another, I really liked your music in The Who. All I could say to them was, I really like your dancing diversity. That's how I phrased it. I really like your dancing diversity.
Do you know what your mistake was?
Yeah.
Using language. They only speak one language, and that is...
The language of dance, girls.
Dance. You should have had a dance off.
I really like your dance diversity. Flipping it. Can we... Here's a thing, guys. Can we all press our red buttons now to get rid of Simon Cowell? Because he's had a stranglehold on British television, 10 years?
And music.
10 years. It's probably a bit more. Let's say 15 years, right? He's killed British television. He's killed it. ITV are terrified now to do anything on a Saturday night that doesn't involve either Ant or Dec or him. He's made Ant or Dec are nice blokes. And they're all right, but he's made them like the national institution that they've mysteriously become, and that ITV will not do anything unless it's got Simon Cowell's finger right up it. He's murdered home entertainment. It's not taping is killing home entertainment. It's Simon Cowell has killed it with his bland, insipid, rubbish throwaway music. Throwaway music can be pretty cool, but his is even more disposable than disposable music, and his really stinky, boring, formulaic television shows that sap the lifeblood out of this country. Let's get rid of that plum. ITV, take a gamble. Yeah, you'll lose a load of viewers for a couple of years, but then you'll build them back up with something great and innovative.
I think the big mistake that we've made is by letting him in, of course, but also taking his... He's so cynical. He will say, I'm not going to be able to sell you.
Look, I just want to say that was rubbish, and you've not made it through to being voted out. You're going through to boot camp.
Yeah.
Oh, jog on, Chin. Jog on, Chinny.
This is very awkward because he's on Fader 1.
Yay! Is he?
No.
No, he's not.
I've interviewed him. He's a nice bloke.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be interested in putting us up for jobs unless we had a story that could go with it that would be worthy of a Coldplay soundtrack.
No, I do.
I've had a message through from Giles. Yeah, Giles Davis.
All right, Giles.
About Colette Paul.
Hello, fella.
Saying she's going. That could mean that should allow for about 20 to 30 new officers.
Yeah.
I don't think it works like that.
No, it don't work like that. Giles has realised his mistake. He's apologised for his previous indiscretions.
Has he?
Against us. Yeah.
Good.
Well, so I tell you what, Dealey's doing How to Please Your Man. We'll come up with some question about Simon Cowell, because Simon Cowell actually makes me really angry.
How to please your Simon Cowell?
How to please your Simon Cowell. He's a nice bloke, Simon Cowell, but he has got a stranglehold on all of us. He's the reason I don't watch television anymore, because everything sucks of Simon Cowell. Phrase that very carefully, otherwise you get in terrible trouble. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. You can send me a text, 81333. Start your text 3CR. You can email us as well, of course, if you want. Iain.lee@bbc.co.uk. Iain says about Colette Paul, 33 years in the service, get to Chief Constable, give up after 2 years on full Chief Constable pension. She's milking it big time, he says.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there's a lane closed just after junction 13 for Bedford because a van's broken down. On the A1M, it's looking very busy on the speed sensors southbound between junction 3 for St Albans and 2 for Welham Green. And in Cheshunt on the A10 southbound, that's very slow from the New River Trading Estate towards the M25. On the trains, Great Northern has possible delays still between Hatfield and Wellow Garden City because of a signalling problem earlier. And on the London Underground, if you're using that this morning, the Circle Line and the Hammersmith and City Line have severe delays. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much indeed. Andrea, one of our American listeners, because they ain't got nothing good over there to listen to, says, Iain, well, I've lost it. Hang on a second. Sorry, we kept Simon Cowell as long as we could. We finally decided to send him back home. He's the UK's problem now. That's it. America, they played with him, they enjoyed him, and then they woke up and realised there was nothing to him. Oh, man. Simon Cowell, no thank you. Right, 7:16. It's Tuesday, the 2nd of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The Chief Constable of Bedfordshire Police, Colette Paul, has announced she's stepping down from the job. The former leader of the Liberal Democrats, Charles Kennedy, has died suddenly at the age of 55. And ambulance drivers in Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire say they're so overworked they're falling asleep at the wheel.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Every day it's not just about great music and great conversation.
I'll get a bit technical here.
It's about local experts helping you across beds, hearts and bucks.
So what we're talking about then is capital gains tax potentially on the portion of the property that they directly own.
On finance, relationships.
But look at the way that you have contributed to this situation.
Health.
When you have a cough, which can seem quite innocuous in this way, but just irritating, asthma is something that we would think of.
Your pets.
Particularly if your dog is a border collie cross, it will be epilepsy.
And even law.
You still cannot say, Judge, you have to stick to this. But the judge's approach now is going to be, well, why shouldn't we?
Local advice for local people.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
OK, let's evaluate Simon Cowell's contribution to our lives, OK? Name me... Let's start with the easy one first. Name me 3 winners of Britain's Got Talent.
Brookstein. Or was that X Factor?
OK, not as easy as I thought. That's X Factor. Britain's Got Talent, 3 winners.
All right. Diversity.
I can do this, and I've never watched the programme yet. Diversity.
Subo.
Was she Britain's Got Talent?
Yeah.
OK, yep.
And Paul Potts.
Paul Potts, the singing bin man. OK. Now name me 3 winners of the X Factor.
OK.
It's doable, but it's not as easy.
Little Mix.
Did they win? No.
Yeah, they did.
Did they win?
Pretty sure they did. Who
Gareth.
It tends to be the people that... No, he wasn't...
No, it was Will Young that year, wasn't it?
No.
That was Pop Idol.
Pop Idol. X Factor. You see, it's all one amalgamous. They're all one, I'm going to say it, amalgamous ball of filth.
Yeah, because One Direction didn't even win, did they?
You tend to do better if you came second.
Yeah.
Generally, you came better if you did better if you came second. JLS was second, weren't
Did
they?
Leona Lewis win? Yeah.
Leona Lewis won. Where's she?
America?
No, she's not. She flopped. Turns out she was a bit of a diva and not as good as we all thought she was.
Really? She's got a new single out.
Yeah, and how many times is it got? When is she going to be on Top of the Pops performing it? Is the question on everybody's lips. What about Fat Swallow? What happened to him?
Oh dear, he got a sore throat. That's what happened.
He was again. I think he was Pop Idol. Actually, I worked with Rick Waller. Everything they said about that man being thoroughly unpleasant was just, so completely true. He had an ego the size of Rick Waller.
There was James Arthur. Did he win?
I've got no idea. There you go, say names.
Frankie Boyle said about him.
James Arthur won.
Frankie Boyle tickled me what he said about him, and it was mean. Of course it was. It was Frankie Boyle. He said that he had sheep's teeth in a baby's face.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Sheep's teeth. Honestly, if Simon Cowell went, I'm asking you now, dear listener, 08459 455 555, would you miss him or would you dance around the living room? And it would take a while for ITV to get back in the thing. The thing is, ITV have not had a Saturday night hit that's not involved Simon Cowell since Belinda Data. That's the last hit they had that didn't involve that plum. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call on that. Now, ambulance staff are so tired that drivers are falling asleep at the wheel. That's the claim of the East of England branch of Unison, who are calling for bosses to bring in safer working hours before something terrible happens. Well, Branch Secretary Freya Stevenson joins me now. Morning, Freya.
Morning.
Are drivers actually falling asleep at the wheel?
We made a film and we interviewed a number of staff from around the trust, and we were really quite disturbed by what they told us, the level of fatigue that they were working under and their fears, and a number of them did say that they had nodded off at the wheel, and particularly going home after shift as well. So remember, when they finish their shift, they still have to return from their base station to their home address.
So how long is their shift?
So most shifts are 12 hours long, but because of the late finishes, they can be 15 hours or more, and then on top of that, they often have a good hour to travel to their home as well.
And is it that 12 to 15 hours, is that constant working, or is there any downtime at all?
Well, crews will get a half an hour break in a 12-hour shift, which is an unpaid meal break. So they do get that half an hour. If they're able to, they get an additional 15 minutes, which is paid, but that's quite rare because of the pressure of calls.
So it is, when they're not on breaks, it is, you're saying it's a pretty constant stream of picking people up?
It is. I mean, you know, the constant pressure, the increases in calls, the high vacancy rate have all added to that, and crews are telling us that they go job to job to job, very often for sort of the 14, 15 hours.
10% of the workforce has gone over the last year.
They have indeed, yes, which is a real concern. We've got a big recruitment going on in East of England, which is very welcome. We've got hundreds of new student paramedics, but we do need to retain the experienced staff in order to mentor them and to bring them on as our sort of next generation of paramedics.
Well, where are they all going, the ones that are leaving? What's happening?
Well, many are leaving the profession because of the pressures that they're seeing. We're seeing people in their 20s and 30s and early 40s now making a decision to retrain and leave because they are not coping with the constant pressures that they're under. Others are leaving to work in local acutes, GP surgeries. There are other opportunities for paramedics other than working on the front line.
And Freya, am I right in thinking that you're an ambulance worker?
I am.
What's a typical shift for you like?
Well, I'm as branch secretary, I'm actually seconded into that role, but I've worked frontline for 5-6 years before taking on that role. And we have seen, when I started 6 years ago, it was quite different. The increases in calls that we've seen means that it is pretty relentless. It is pretty much job to job to job. We've seen a huge increase in calls, particularly from 111 coming across. And, I mean, if you look at the area that I work in, within 3 years we lost 6 paramedics. Within the last couple of months we've lost 11 now. So we really are at a point where we need to start addressing these issues.
See, I love you lot, because the very few times I've had to call out an ambulance, the service has been... I couldn't fault it at all. And I mean, the last time I did it, I had to phone... It was quite a while ago, I think. I had to call an ambulance out for my mum. And I was so hesitant to... I was thinking, do I really need to do this? Yes, I do. But it must be frustrating for you lot when you turn up and it's someone who's got a leaf stuck on their foot, or, you know, they've cut themselves on a stamp. You know, you get those ridiculous things. You have to go and attend that and treat it as though it were the real emergency, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate that it is a big thing for most people to call 999 and ask for an ambulance, and the staff, they do really care about their patients. We do see a number of inappropriate calls, and that does put pressure on crews, and it does then mean that the resources don't get to the patients that might need that quicker response. So there is that side to it as well, unfortunately. What
do you want the East of England Ambulance Service to do? And does it look like they're going to help?
Yeah, I mean, the day after we released the film, the Trust have started a pilot to look at reducing late finishes, which is really welcome. And we have to say we had Anthony Marsh's full support to do the filming and to speak to staff about the late finishes and how it was affecting them as well. We just need to keep that pilot moving in the right direction. The step that the Trust has made is a very small step, but it is a very welcome step. We've been asking staff, families, patients, members of the public to get behind an e-petition that we've started to show their support for their local crews and also to try and reduce these late finishes. And you can find that at our campaign website, which is putbacktheheart.com. That's had 1,700 staff signing that e-petition in less than a week. So it's been really important for the crews to see just how much public support there is for them.
Freya, it's good to talk to you. I wish you the very best of luck, and thank you, for all the work that you do. I don't envy you in the slightest.
Thanks, Iain. Thanks for having us on the show.
Thank you, Freya. That's Freya Stevenson, Branch Secretary of Unison. We mentioned this the other day. The very few times I've had to call an ambulance, they have been spot on. And the few times I've been at a hospital with my boys, and of course little boys, I don't know if it's the same for little girls, but little boys love ambulances. And a couple of times the ambulance crew have seen us staring at their ambulance and said, "Oh, do you want to come and have a look? Come and have a look. Come around the back and have a look." And the boys love it.
Brilliant.
They love it. So, if those guys are driving around tired, then we're all screwed, aren't we?
I completely get what you mean, though, about when the occasion arises where you think, I'm going to have to call the ambulance. You do think of every other thing first, don't you? Really? Yeah. Is there any way I can avoid doing that?
Now, see, you and I do. Sensible people do. But then there are idiots that, I've got a stamp stuck to my shin.
Yeah, but there are usually other issues at play there, aren't there?
Yeah, they're nuts. I said I had to phone it because my mum was really ill, and I had the phone in my hand. I was thinking, is there anything else I can do? Am I missing something here? No, I'm going to call 999. And they came, and I said, look, I don't know if I've done the right thing. And they said, no, it's, it's cool. And they were amazing, and they're so polite and so friendly, and it's so. Surely we have to support. There can't be anybody listening. Let's put that. There can't be anybody listening who thinks that the ambulance crew don't have it tough. Do they? That thinks that them asking to, maybe not quite work quite so long, maybe have a slightly longer break. That's like obvious, isn't it? Isn't it? 08459 455 555. The Simon Cowell backlash. By the way, Subo didn't win.
No, I know.
Britain's Got Talent.
I remember the moment now because she had a face that her mouth was smiling, but the eyebrows and the eyes were fury, weren't they?
Someone said, well, I think that was just her face.
No, but she couldn't hide it. She can't.
No, she can't hide it because.
Yeah, well, we know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it autism she's been diagnosed?
I think
with?
She's on a spectrum somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. Now, lots of people are sharing a picture of this. File sharing isn't killing music. Simon Cowell is, and you keep helping him. Seriously, cut that out. It's true. The thing is, the music thing, I don't really listen to pop music, and pop music has always been slightly manipulated, although his vacuous acts are even more vacuous than the most vacuous of vacuities that have ever appeared before. For me, it's the fact that he's killing television. That's what everyone seems to be ignoring. He's killing TV. He's killing Saturday night television. With this rubbish about a stupid woman pretending to be a police officer and a man in a dog suit climbing a rope. I mean, really? Is that what we've come to?
Not just one man in a dog suit.
2 men in one dog suit climbing a rope. For goodness sakes, guys.
We've had word back from Gavin Shuker.
Oh, yeah?
About Colette Paul. I asked him whether we could grab him for a couple of minutes on the phone this morning. He said he has nothing to add, he doesn't think.
Well, I can. That's fair enough. I'd love to speak to Ollie Martins, but I think he's away on a holiday. Celebrates. Good times for you on your holiday.
We've had a text message through.
I don't know that song very well. I don't know if you...
Really?
I made some of that up, yes.
We've had a text message through, anonymous. I have friends in Beds Fire and Beds Police. They've been asked to look at the budget and make big cuts. Plans are to merge Beds Police with Beds Fire. Really? But Beds Fire rejected this 2 years ago. The other is to disband Beds Police totally and have Beds and Hearts Police, which will remove 40% of senior management and stop the Beds Hearts boundary.
Isn't Bedfordshire seen as a hotbed for potential terrorism?
Yeah. And they say they're fighting, it's a rural patch, but also it's treated like a metropolitan patch.
It's a good idea then. If Bedfordshire is a hotbed for terrorism, then cutting back on police and merging forces probably sounds like a really, really good idea then.
Nice one. Shout,
Nice one, guys.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25, they're accused anti-clockwise because of an accident at junction 21 for the M1. On the M1 southbound, it's very slow from junction 11 for Dunstable to 9 for Redbourne, but southbound at junction 13 where the van broke down, that has now all reopened, so it's starting to move fine again through there now. On the A1 southbound, it's busy from the St Neots junction towards the Black Cat roundabout, and on the trains, Great Northern have possible delays between Hatfield and Welwyn Garden City because of a signalling problem earlier. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines. The Chief Constable of Bedfordshire Police has announced she's retiring just 2 years into the job. Colette Paul says that after 33 years' service, she wants to spend more time with her family. The former Liberal Democrat leader Charles Kennedy has died suddenly at his home in Scotland at the age of 55. Police say they're not treating his death as suspicious. And it's being claimed that ambulance staff in Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire are so overworked they're falling asleep at the wheel. Their union Unison says its members say they're scared about making clinical errors and causing accidents. The weather will be cloudy with rain this morning, turning brighter this afternoon, but still windy with top temperatures around 19 degrees Celsius. That's 66 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England's cricketers will resume on 44 without loss in the second test against New Zealand, needing 455 to win. Despite the high target and the threat of rain, batsman Joe Root believes they can do it.
There is quite a bit of work to do, but we've got an opportunity to do something special. Obviously, rain coming in a way has made things a little bit harder for us because we've got every intention of going out the view to win the game, so that obviously means we've got less time to do that now, but very positive, got off to a great start, and hopefully that can continue.
In tennis, Andy Murray will play David Ferrer in the quarter-finals of the French Open, while Rafa Nadal and Novak Djokovic face each other in the last 8. The British number one says playing Jeremy Chardy in front of a French audience spurred him on.
It was for sure the best match I've played in this tournament so far, and the crowd created a good atmosphere, and I always enjoy that. It's one of the challenges of being a professional sports person. When you come up against sort of home favourites and the crowd aren't there for you, you need to, find a way to motivate you, and I feel like I've done that well.
The defending women's champion Maria Sharapova has been knocked out, but top seed Serena Williams fought back in her match to win through to the quarter-finals. In football, Liverpool is set to hold talks with Man City's James Milner this week as they close in on signing the midfielder on a free transfer. And finally, the England rugby fly-half Danny Cipriani has been arrested on suspicion of drink driving after a crash in his car. That's BBC Three Counties News and Sport, with more at 8 o'clock.
Morning, Colin.
Good morning.
We're asking this morning, how do you keep your man happy? And how do you do it, Colin?
I haven't got a man.
Hey, well, what did you do wrong?
I don't know.
Well, you must have done something for him to leave.
I've never had a man.
Oh, Colin!
I'm not that way inclined.
Oh, I see. I do apologise. I've completely misunderstood you. What have you called in for, Cole?
Regarding this ambulance thing.
Yes, this ambulance thing, yes.
Report.
Yes, report.
I was watching...
oh, come on, spit it out. We finish at 9.
East earlier.
Yes, I'm sorry about
morning.
that. That's a shame. Those guys still going there? Those guys at Look East still going? Oh, they're supposed to be our friends. They're friends of mine. They've never invited me round.
And they were saying that the 2 universities that are running the courses for their to get more paramedics and ambulance people have not been accredited.
Huh?
So they've done the course.
Oh.
I think there was about 400 of them.
So they've done the course, but they've not got the badge.
But they won't. Yeah, but they won't be accredited.
Oh, so they
that's
can't-
going to exasperate things.
It's going to what?
Exasperate.
Really?
Yeah,
Exasperate?
Look it up.
I can't. I'm too exasperated to this call to look it up. No, surely, right? The of all the emergency services, okay, okay, the ambulance one has got to be the ones that nobody can have beef with. Nobody can be angry or upset with the ambulance staff.
I entirely agree with you.
Can they? I mean, I struggle to see how people can be angry with the fire brigade, but that's to one side. But no, everybody must love the ambulance staff and the paramedics and the job they do.
Well, it's preservation of life, isn't it?
It's the Self-Preservation Society.
That's right.
What film's that from, Colin?
No idea.
Come on.
No, I don't watch films.
Sorry?
I don't watch films.
What? No, I've got a friend who doesn't watch films, and I'll be honest, that's the nuttest thing I've ever heard in my life. You've never seen a film?
The last one I went to see with my girlfriend.
Oh, just reiterating the heterosexuality, yes.
Was Deer Hunter.
What?
And I fell asleep.
Oh, it's a long film, The Deer Hunter.
Yeah, I fell asleep.
But do you not watch them on? Because they show films on the television now.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You know what film this is from?
No.
This is the Self-Preservation Society. You know what this is, don't you, Catherine?
Yeah, of course I do.
This is the Self-Preservation Society. This is the Self-Preservation Society.
No,
You've got your hamburger and your bun and do's. You gonna do it, do's. I'm freestyling a bit. You come and do it up and do ours.
Shall I give him another clue?
We're gonna go and do the thing over there.
This is my toilet.
Pardon?
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. You go, Kels?
Yeah,
you in?
no.
Kelly's got it now, Colin.
Well, I know who you were just impersonating.
Okay.
Michael Caine.
Correct. So what was the film? But what was the film?
No idea.
But what was the film?
I am absolutely, genuinely no idea.
Hang on a minute. Chris?
Yep.
You know the... You all right?
Yeah.
Are you... you angry with Colin or with me?
You.
Oh, dear.
Blimey, Colin, this is awkwado. Do you know what? Oh, Chris?
Yeah.
I think I've just left something in my car. I'm just going to go to my car and get something. You trust Colin?
Cop out. He's a real cop out, isn't he, hey?
Well, he's responsible for what happened to Audi, isn't he?
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, go on.
Well, they have a curse on the show, don't they, about people dying. And he's killed a building this time. Because a couple of weeks ago, they mentioned it because some lady bought her car from there. And she had some problems and she went off for a meal and everything.
Oh, yes. Was that the same place?
Yeah, so I reckon that's down to Iain mentioning it on his show.
Yeah, but that was... JVS was responsible,
yeah, but Iain also mentioned it on his show, and when it's mentioned on Iain's show, oh my word, look what happened. You know what I mean? The man's dangerous.
Oh dear.
No wonder he loves the ambulance service. He needs them because it's his fault that all these deaths and buildings collapsing are going on.
You've got me worried now because they're moving the studios to Dunstable, only a couple of 100 yards from me.
Aye, good, because I'm looting, mate. We need them gone. That's what I say.
Oh, dear. Should I get my placard out?
Colin, what was you saying about the ambulance service?
Well, apparently the two universities that were running the courses for new ambulance people to train them have not been able to get accreditation for the course. So they've all taken the course, but they won't be accredited, so can't take up their posts.
But they're private companies, aren't they? Because very few ambulance drivers actually belong to hospitals or the government these days, didn't they? I thought they were all private companies.
I don't know. No.
I used to be an ambulance driver, and
really?
at the time, it was a private company that did it. And the hours are terrible, and the wages, I don't think a lot of people are aware that some people only get just over minimum wage on it, so that would be another reason that they'd all be wanting to leave, wouldn't it?
That's disgusting.
Guys, sorry, I'm back from the car. I managed to get the thing from the car. Chris, great perspective, whatever you were talking about, Colin. Excellent call, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, bye then. There we go. Not a clue what they were talking about. That sounds like...
proper actor.
You all right, Jazz?
Hello, boss. How are you?
Who's a proper actor?
Yeah, who's a proper actor?
Simon Scowl.
Simon Cowell. You're talking about Simon Cowell, aren't you, boss?
I believe you've got a live perspective on Simon Scowl.
Well, we are live this morning. We're in Hemel Hempstead. It's the Queen's Square here in Adeyfield. Ladies, come and see me, by the way, because we have got a ladies' perspective special coming up later on.
That's not just an old-fashioned BBC shout-out. We actually want a lady's perspective on a story.
No, we do. How do you keep your man happy?
Yes.
Anything could happen. But you're also talking about Simon Cowell. Yeah. Sir, boss back in the studio, absolutely hates him. What's your views on Simon Cowell?
I think he's wonderful.
Why?
He's just lovely. He's
lovely?
Yeah, lovable. I mean, if I was a woman, I'd probably marry him. But I'm not.
Come on, you're winding me up, aren't you?
No, he's very attractive. He's got nice teeth and nice hair.
Fake teeth,
trousers,
fake hair.
Trousers up to his neck.
Trousers.
Yeah. What else could you want from a man?
So you're honestly telling us right now, if Simon Cowell never appeared on TV again, you would genuinely miss him?
I'd probably commit suicide.
What?
I would, yeah, because I'm like that chicken, you know.
All right.
That chicken that committed suicide.
All right, okay. Just lastly, name me 3 people that have won the X Factor. But you can't.
That bloke who sung Green thing. Willie, what's his name?
It's not going well.
The dog.
No, that was Britain's Got Talent, mate.
No, I can't.
All right, let's leave it there. Thanks, boss. Thanks. Got a bit tense towards the end there, but clearly a fan of Simon Cowell. There's one out there. There's one.
Thanks. Send him on his way now.
Cheers. Thanks.
Some ladies over there, by the way.
Some ladies over there.
All right. You know, Justin knows what ladies look like. I can't believe anybody is a fan of Simon Cowell. Listen, he was fun for a couple of years. Oh, look at the miserable posh guy slagging people off. All right, that's great. But it's also repetitive and dull.
I think the thing is, because we work in the industry, we know what it's about. Okay, so if you're going to go on a programme like that, you need a sob story. But to other people, they don't get that game. So they're simply watching that thinking, oh, look. Look at this person, they've gone through tragedy.
Well, Simon, I'm doing this because my mum... It was 5 years to the day that my mum... She had a really bad haircut, and when she came home, we just didn't know where to look, Simon, and she's never been the same since. I mean, it's grown back, and the haircut she's got now is great, but when I see her, I just think... That time she had a really bad haircut. She had a she-mullet. Short on top, long at the back, and it just... It just didn't look right on Mum. It didn't suit her at all. That's what it's all about. All
exactly.
Right, to the
but
final.
You see, we get it. We get it. The majority of people watching those programmes, like the X Factor, like Britain's Got Talent, they don't see that. They just think, oh, what a lovely story. I should vote for that person. That's why he will remain on TV, I'm sure, for at least another decade.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm being serious. Yes, it's going to happen.
You seriously believe this, don't you?
I do.
You've got no taste whatsoever.
No, I'm not saying I like him. I'm just saying that the public's perspective of Simon Cowell, I think if you speak to most people, people will watch that programme and enjoy the character that is Simon Cowell. That's why you better get, used to the fact he's going to be on TV for at least another 10 years.
Justin, speak to you later on. Just where are you, because you want ladies to come down and
you're talking about
talk to you.
Yeah, Davina McCall in the paper saying how she keeps her man happy. I'm live at the moment. It's the Queen's Square, Adeyfield, Hemel Hempstead, a ladies' perspective special. This is really happening. How do you keep your man happy?
Thank you very much indeed, Justin. I was faced with a dilemma yesterday, Catherine. I texted you that Owen Jones had started following me on Twitter. Pressure's on. When there's someone who's famous or quite well known, the pressure is on, because if you go back there in 3 days' time and they're not following you, you're going to be heartbroken.
Yeah, you feel like they're listening with their arms folded.
Yeah, exactly.
Impress me.
I know that some high-profile members of the One Show team are following me, so I've got to be careful what I say about that now. Anyway, I couldn't work out why Owen Jones was following me. I worked it out. I accidentally clicked follow on him.
Oh.
So now I've unfollowed him.
Oh.
I know. I don't want to read his. You know, I like the idea of him. I don't want to read his stuff. So he's might have the thing where he clicks on me and goes, oh no, he's unfollowed me. And,
what have I done?
What have I done? So it's just the thing with Twitter, my Twitter app on my telephone. It's so easy to click follow by mistake.
Yeah, I've done some pocket follows before.
Oh, I flippin' hate that. We'll do some texts in a bit. 08459 455 555. The phone number 81333. Start your text 3CR. I'm hoping that she's finished Kent. Let's get the trav.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25, a lane's been blocked on the exit slip road at junction 21 for the M1, which is causing delays on the approach to the M1 northbound. And on the M1 southbound, it's really slow from junction 11 for Dunstable to 9 for Redbourne. But also southbound at junction 13, there was a van broken down there earlier which blocked a lane, but all the lanes have now been reopened, so it's not causing any delays past Bedford. On the A1M, that's looking slow on the speed sensors, southbound at junction 9 for Letchworth towards junction 7 for Stevenage. And on the trains, Great Northern have possible delays between Hatfield and Welwyn Garden City, and that's because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. It's 7:45. Is the morning going? It is 7:45. It's Tuesday, the 2nd of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The Chief Constable of Bedfordshire Police, Colette Paul, has announced she's stepping down from the job. The former leader of the Liberal Democrats, Charles Kennedy, has died suddenly at the age of 55. And ambulance drivers in Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire say they're so overworked they're falling asleep at the wheel. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's unseasonably windy out there today. Gusts expected of 40, maybe 50 miles per hour throughout the course of the day. It's not going anywhere either. Could get a bit of light rain and drizzle through this morning, drying out a touch more though this afternoon. We could even see a little bit of sunshine this evening. Maximum temperature looking at around 18, perhaps even 19 Celsius. So not too chilly, certainly not as chilly as it has been, but it is going to stay breezy, and it's going to stay breezy overnight as well. Quite gusty, especially over higher ground, the Chilterns, Dunstable Downs, for example. 10 Celsius the minimum temperature, so temperatures not dropping too far, remains reasonably mild. Now, the wind will gradually fall lighter through the early hours and into tomorrow morning. That's going to continue to do so through Wednesday. A much better day tomorrow, drier, brighter, calmer, some sunshine, particularly tomorrow morning, and a maximum temperature of 19 Celsius. That's your forecast.
What happened, ladies?
Nothing. I can tell you off air.
You can't tell me on air.
No. We're waiting for Paul Scoins, and I'm just wondering where he is.
Where is Scoins?
Where is Scoins?
Scoins?
Paul?
Paul Scoins?
Paul?
Scoins?
Paul?
Hello, Three Counties.
Actually, it's only Paul Scoins. I'm not that bothered.
Sometimes in life, things don't always go to plan.
It worked perfectly for 2.5, 3 years till 2 days ago.
He should refund me £1,900.
Which is where we come in.
We managed to get them to agree to come back in to the property on an agreed date.
The JVS show takes on your consumer problems.
I've basically lost the whole lot in administration charges.
And helps to get to the right solution.
I've received a cheque back for £578.
Jonathan, I can't thank you enough. I don't know how you do what you do, you and your team.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Let's, hang on a second, let's just do this properly so we know where we're going. Yes. Right, let's go to Paul Scoins, our political reporter, to talk about the situation at Yarlswood. Paul. Turns out we do need Paul Scoins. I hadn't realised...
He's on the phone.
Oh, what? But it says on my screen, in studio.
No, I always look forward to these days as well.
Because he makes us coffee.
I had a wash.
Well, that's because you did yoga. I would have hoped you would have had a wash.
Whether I need it or not.
Fader 1, Slacker Scoins.
Morning.
What happened, Scoins? Wagwan.
Hello.
Wagwan.
Can you hear me?
Wagwan. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Then why are you not responding to the universal greeting of Wagwan?
I'm unsure how to respond, if I'm really honest.
Okay, why are you there and why are you not here?
was I due to come in? I've got a council meeting tonight. I've got this council meeting tonight, so I'm not coming in.
Tough guy, huh?
Yeah, I'm playing at hardball.
Okay, well, let me press this and then we'll get into the story. Oh, no, hang on, I've muffed this up.
Beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yarlswood, guys, a long-awaited report into health services at Yarlswood Immigration Removal Centre in Bedford will be discussed later on today. It's a place and a situation that we've discussed many times on the show. The review, which will look at everything from the mental health of detainees to how the centre deals with pregnant women, was commissioned almost a year ago, but it's still unpublished. Political reporter Paul Scoins is on the line. Paul, this is Bedford Borough Council's report. What is it about? And a year, that seems a long time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is a report which is going to deal with everything from mental health to whether or not pregnant women should be housed at the detention centre. It's just north of Bedford. And as you say, it was commissioned in, I think it was the summer last year, and the idea was that it would almost be delivered, hopefully, by the end of last year. But the workload of this committee, it's one of the backbench committees at Bedford Borough Council, meant that they haven't got round to doing it yet. And subsequently, there have been other reports by, sort of bigger, if you like, organisations, and this has rather taken a bit of a back seat. So what they're going to do tonight is just underline that they do want to go ahead with this report, and they feel now, with some of the things which have happened at Yarlswood in the last 6 months or so, it's even more relevant than ever.
And that's the shame, isn't it? Because we have, there is evidence of racial abuse. There have been stories of physical abuse. The rumours that maybe that inappropriate relationships have been struck up. That it's quite murky, and it's a shame that they're saying, "Oh yeah, we'll do the report now," after all this murkiness has come out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, at the time that the report was commissioned, some of the things that you're talking about hadn't yet come to light. So, that's clearly something that they will want to consider in this report. Since that report was was commissioned, we obviously had the death of a detainee of a suspected heart attack at the centre, and that's an indication, I think, of the concern that this group has, that health is just not up to scratch. And indeed, one of the things which at the sort of earlier point of this year, this committee at Bedford Borough Council asked Yarlswood, or the company which runs it, Serco, to do is to get more training. They've also asked for the Home Secretary to consider whether or not pregnant women should even be housed there in the first instance, and also they want to sort of address further issues with mental health as well, which are some of the things, as I say, have already been picked up. So we will hope to have a sort of a better idea tonight about when this report, if it is published in the near future, when it will be. So what exactly is this meeting tonight, Paul? I'm a little bit confused. What are they deciding tonight? Well, it's called the Health and Adult Social Care Overview Scrutiny Committee. It's effectively one of these committees of council which holds these sorts of bodies to account, but they're as much as anything an advice committee. So they commission this report. They're going to tonight just set the parameters for that and press on with it.
So it's kind of a meeting about a meeting, it feels like. It's one of those.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's not a meeting about a meeting. It's a meeting just to sort of set out some of the issues that they want to get decided. Now, I understand that this report, if it all goes well, and it is waiting for a report from the Care Quality Commission and also the Prison Inspectorate to be published, which I've been told is going to come in the next month or so. So that will be very interesting. The HMIP report on Yarlswood will be keenly watched, because I think that's happened. That was they went in at the end of April, so that will then mean that right at the peak of some of the things that we were talking about, right at the earlier part of the year, there was a Channel 4 dispatches investigation which looked at some of the abuse or alleged abuse that was going on in the centre. I understand that this report that we're talking about now is going to come out in December, which is still a good 18 months after it was commissioned in the first instance. So there'll be I imagine, some explanation tonight about why that was and why that delay has been. I mean, it feels such an important subject that the issue of workload of this relatively small committee, you do wonder whether or not they could have made more of an effort to try and get it out.
It's not important. It's only foreign women. That's kind of the attitude that some people. Oh, it's not important. It's only foreign women. It's those women that are potentially in, fleeing for their lives and they've come over here and they are in what is being described as an horrific situation. I think it's outrageous that they've waited this long to kind of initiate this.
Well, absolutely, and I think it's difficult to say why they have done it without actually hearing from them tonight. Hopefully, I'll get a clearer idea by the end of tonight, and I'll be able to come back to you tomorrow and bring you some of the answers to that.
Paul, while we've got you on, it would be remiss of me to not mention Colette Paul. What's happening?
Well, I mean, she's retired after 2 years in the post, 33 years in service, and I have not been able to speak to sort of anyone other than my colleague who Neil Bradford, who from Look East, who managed to find this out last night. Someone passed in the letter which had gone around the force yesterday. She wants to spend more time with her family, do some travelling, and after 33 years of service, who could blame her? But it does leave the force in a position where whoever takes charge is going to have to make some very serious decisions about what to do next, because they've already said how much they're struggling. They're running out of officers effectively to do the jobs that they have on their books, and the former head of one of the most senior police officers in the country, so Hugh Ord, said that this force would have its ability to deal with things like terrorism compromised if they didn't get the referendum decision that they were hoping for, which of course was to raise more council tax. That didn't happen. So now whoever's going to come in, and it may well be someone from within the force, I'm told that potentially, certainly for the short term, John Boucher, who's the Deputy Chief Constable, might take charge. We'll have to make some serious sort of decisions about what to do.
Why did she announce it late last night? It was about 9 o'clock, wasn't it, came out? Was it just because it had been leaked and so she thought she might as well do it? Was it so that it would be really tricky to get hold of her? It's an odd time.
I don't know if it was officially announced, was it? I think it came through... we were able to stand it up from letters sent to officers. I'm not sure if there's actually been an official announcement yet. I don't think we've had an official response from the force. We've certainly been trying it. We know that we were passed sort of a letter that was sent to every member of staff from the Chief Constable, and that's how we know about it. But we've been trying to reach the Police Commissioner, Ollie Martins. He's actually just returning from holiday. He came. I think he arrived back in the country yesterday. So. Oh,
okay. Well, so let's give him a call.
Yes, well, as I say, we've been trying to reach him, but we haven't heard back from him yet. So I think he actually came in very late last night. So I'm not sure how much he was aware that this was going to happen. I know that the two of them are close. It's not a bad relationship at all between them. In fact, quite the opposite. But it does seem, perhaps with the timing of the referendum, the no result. I know Colette Paul was very concerned about her ability as Chief Constable to effectively do the job. I know that she had robust plans in place to try and deal with a no vote, which of course are now going to have to be put into plan. But this is bad timing, and whoever, as I say, is going to pick up is going to have a job on their hands.
Paul, to quote Fleetwood Mac, you make loving fun. I appreciate your time this morning.
Well, it's always a pleasure, Ian, always.
Sounded sarcastic, was it?
No, that was my genuine.
That sounded even more sarcastic, was it?
No.
That was.
Okay, that was,
Thank you, Scoins. I appreciate your honesty, mate. Have a great day, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, big love, big love. Another Fleetwood Mac reference there. Why am I being followed on Twitter by so many reporters from ITV? What's that all about?
Gosh.
What dirt have those guys got on me?
They're just hoping.
Hoping I slip
It's been
up.
slow. Look how thin the papers are.
Oh, yeah, that's true. If they're following me. And the fella from Charlie Condu. Do you know him?
Yeah, I think he might be following me as well.
What's he following us for? He's. I just watched him in Nathan Barley the other day. I like him.
Yeah.
I know he's following me. Something's going on, guys.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 has a lane closed anti-clockwise on the exit slip road to the M1 northbound, which is causing some queues. And the M1 southbound is very slow from junction 12 for Flitwick to 9 for Redbourne. The M40 away from London is busy from the Denham roundabout towards the M25, with queues all the way back actually from the Swakeleys roundabout at Uxbridge. And in Amersham on Gore Hill, that's looking very busy on the speed sensors between the A413 and the A40 London Road. On the trains, Great Northern have delays between Hatfield and Welwyn Garden City because of a signalling problem. And on the Underground, the Bakerloo line has minor delays between Harrow and Willesden and Queen's Park. That's because of a problem with the track at Willesden Junction. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
And vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: Bedfordshire's Chief Constable steps down from the job. Former Liberal Democrat leader Charles Kennedy has died. And a warning that ambulance drivers are falling asleep at the wheel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The Chief Constable of Bedfordshire Police has announced she is retiring just 2 years into the job. Colette Poole says that after 33 years' service, she wants to spend more time with her family. Paul Scoynes reports.
Ms Poole was appointed in May 2013 after serving as an Assistant Chief Constable in South Wales. This will come as a serious blow to the Police and Crime Commissioner Ollie Martins, who recently lost a referendum to raise council tax and provide the force with more officers. He will now begin the process of replacing her, and whoever takes charge will have to deal with fewer resources and the need to make even more savings over the next few years.
The former leader of the Liberal Democrats, Charles Kennedy, has died suddenly at the age of 55. The cause of his death is yet to be confirmed, but police aren't treating it as suspicious. The Liberal Democrat MP, Tim Farron, is shocked by the news.
If I'm honest with you, I'm just utterly heartbroken because I've lost my mate. He was such a decent man, and we all know the troubles that he has had, but he has been a loyal and decent friend, a superb member of Parliament, and Britain has lost an absolute giant today.
It's being claimed that ambulance staff in Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire are so overworked they're falling asleep at the wheel. Staff have told their union they're scared about making clinical errors and causing accidents. Freya Stevenson from Unison in the east of England says working conditions need to be improved.
Shifts are 12 hours long, but because of the late finishes, they can be 15 hours or more. So, I mean, you know, the constant pressure, the increases in calls, the high vacancy rate have all added to that, and crews are telling us that they go job to job to job.
The government is cutting costs in the NHS by reviewing the pay of senior managers and capping the rates paid to agency staff. More than £3 billion was spent on temporary doctors and nurses last year. Claire Billness, who runs the HCL Locum Agency, says approved rates have already been agreed.
It's the enforcement of these rates that has been a problem in the past. So whilst we welcome these caps on hourly rates, it's important to ensure that the NHS is given the tools and the support to ensure that these things are enforced. And I would encourage the government, the Department of Health and the NHS to work with the industry to bring about these changes.
In sport, England's cricketers will resume on 44 without loss in the second test against New Zealand, needing 455 to win. And Andy Murray will play David Ferrer in the quarter-finals of the French Open after a 4-set win over Jeremy Chardy. The weather will be cloudy with rain this morning, turning brighter this afternoon, but still windy. Top temperatures around 19 degrees Celsius, that's 66 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
That's what I'm talking about. Boom. Bang on time, Lee. That's why we love you so much. 3 minutes in news and sport. Perfect. Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Ladies, or the ladies in the house, how do you please your man? It feels like an outdated phrase. Justin has taken that to the streets. I'm terrified. also, nobody has been able to support Simon Cowell. We're all bored of him, aren't we? The only reason we watch him? Because there's nothing else on. There's nothing else on. If there was something decent on, we'd watch that, wouldn't we? Oh 08459455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
He's a genius. OK, Simon Cowell is a genius. He's on the front page of all of the newspapers because there were 2 dogs instead of 1. I don't even know what that means. We were tricked. Well, hang on. The magician was tricking us. I only know that because I read it in the papers. There was a magician on there. Magicians trick you all. Who cares? No one cares. It's a made-up story. The only reason we watch Simon Cowell is because there's nothing else on. If there was something decent on the other side, we go, yeah, I'm not going to watch that plum anymore. I'm going to watch whatever's on BBC One with Iain Lee. I used to like him. What they'll say, isn't it?
Yeah,
is there anyone on the text that's in support of Simon Cowell, going, no, actually, he is wonderful entertainment. God bless the man.
Well, Martin in Limbury confesses to liking Britain's Got Talent. He says, I absolutely despise X Factor, manufactured drivel.
Oh, sorry, and what's Britain's Got Talent? Because guess what? None of them are British. They're all Russian circus acts. The dog that spoke was French, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was someone that... They're all circus acts, guys. They're all French. They're all European. There's hardly any Brits on there.
Here's another thing. A lot of them are scouted.
They're all professional acts. And also, it's on like every night, isn't it? It's not just on one night a week. It's on like...
It's been on all week.
Overkill? Anybody? A little bit? It's a talent show. It's new faces. It's the fame game. It's opportunity knocks. It's all of those things.
But when new faces is manufactured, because, I know people who are sort of cabaret acts who said that they've resisted going for so long and they get a phone call once a year from people suggesting that they join. And when I say people, I mean researchers. It came out, didn't it, that Lorraine Bowen, who's fantastic, had been scouted. Yeah. And I know for a fact she'd been asked many times before to go on that programme.
Many times.
And we've also got this through from Graham in Bedford about the ambulances.
Yes.
He says, good morning. I know it's difficult to schedule the workload for ambulance crews, but the rest breaks mentioned earlier by a guest sounded illegal to me. I used to do scheduling for rail staff, and what she said was unacceptable. I admire the service. They saved my life years ago at the scene of an attack and came out recently when I was taken ill in my car, and my young daughter called them. They deserve so much more. That's from Graham.
People have beef with the police, and I can kind of understand that. People have beef with the fire brigade, and I don't really understand that, but I think I can sort of understand why some people do. I don't understand how anyone could have beef with the ambulance service.
Get this.
Oh, excuse me.
Genuine job sent to us at 999.
Yeah.
Right, this is someone who's anonymous for obvious reasons.
Yes.
Luckily for her, we didn't arrive at the scene. These are the calls that annoy us. If we get to the scene and have a go, we get a complaint. It's then a disciplinary. I may have to drive 40 miles on blue lights to get to this nonsense. Depending on the answers given to the call handler, this could be classed as life-threatening if the patient is not alert, OK?
Yeah.
Finger is not working. Index finger.
That's Peter Pointer, yeah?
Yeah.
The index finger's not working?
Yeah.
It's
Someone
not
rang
pointing.
up for that. You're responding to a patient who's sick or has a current medical condition. The patient is a 35-year-old female, and it goes on. Finger not working.
So you call 999 because you can't point at something. I mean, these people, blimey. Chop the finger off. 08459 455 555. Why are we talking about ambulance workers? Well, because they're being worked so hard that some of the drivers are falling asleep at the wheel. That's according to Unison's East of England branch, who've released a video with staff worried about making mistakes and causing accidents through tiredness. Well, Gary Sanderson is a retired ambulance officer from the East of England Ambulance Service. Morning, Gary.
Good morning to you.
I have not seen the video. Slap wrist for me. I think you have. Can you empathise with the message that's being put across?
Yes, I can. During my career, I've been in that situation. My colleagues have, where they're working 12-hour shifts. They book on at 7 in the morning, they're straight out, and they come back at 7, 8 at night. You know, they are run ragged, and majority is for inappropriate calls, which is very frustrating.
Is the day relentless? That as soon as you drop one off, you're off to another call.
It is the case. As soon as you make your vehicle ready, for instance, outside an A&E department, you book available, another call comes in. It's end to end. But I think it's down to public education. People are still calling the ambulance services throughout the country for wasted calls.
What kind of wasted calls, Gary?
Examples: people with toothache, people who've had bad backs for 6 weeks, 2 months, people who had, leg pain they've had for weeks and weeks, and they decide to call 999, which is very frustrating for the crews. You can see where they're coming from. They don't get me wrong. I've done it. We're all out there to save lives. But when you're at the end of your 12-hour shift and someone calls up for a dental problem, that is not good.
And are the crews allowed to say anything? Are they allowed to say, "Oh, for crying out loud, really?" Or do they have to go, "Hello, sir, what can we do"?
Well, the crews are obviously professional first and foremost, and they will discuss with the patient at the scene. If the patient doesn't need to go to hospital, they will explain to them, there are other care pathways out there within the NHS, but this could be a delay on scene for half hour, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. Then you've got to get back to station, offload, restock drugs and equipment, and that's where the delays come in and people get off late.
I guess the thing is, let me try and come at this from the other side. Everyone's facing cuts in budgets. People are leaving the job, and people still need to be saved and treated. Unison, are asking for their jobs to be made easier. Never going to happen, is it?
Getting more paramedics on the road is going to alleviate that problem.
But if people are leaving the industry, is probably the wrong word. But if people are leaving that career, then they're not going to be able to do that. They're not going to get more bodies out there.
That's right. It's like a wound that's bleeding. As soon as you stop the bleeding, it may start again. And crews are leaving, going on to pastures new. But they're doing a tremendous job. They said from 2014 they want to recruit 400 paramedics, which they're achieving. But it's really difficult to get people to come into this job now.
What should the East of England Ambulance Service be doing to help, Gary? What could they practically do? What could they go in and do today to make people feel better about their jobs?
Again, I think it's down to the education to the public.
Right.
If you could reduce the call demand to people that do not require a 999 service, that would dramatically reduce the call demand, and it would alleviate the pressures on the crews.
Gary, we know that people are dumb. There are dumb people out there. We do, and there are intelligent people. Say, the last time I called an ambulance was for my mum, and I was holding the phone thinking, do I really need to do this? Is there any other option? But there are dumb people that I want it now.
That's it, and some members of the public, unfortunately, play the game and say keywords when they call 999, which gets a emergency response quicker.
Gary, always good to talk to you. I appreciate your time. It's Gary Sanderson, a retired ambulance officer. 08459 455 555.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
In it, though.
It is, though.
You all right, Kels?
Yeah.
What's wrong, mate?
Me?
You look a bit confused.
No, nothing.
You sure?
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Loving it.
That's a loving it face.
Okay, sure. Everything all right? Everything all right there, though? Yeah.
Yeah, is everything all right with you?
Everything is absolutely fine in here. You sure everything's all right there?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, you got everything that you need to do your job?
Yeah, yeah.
Everything you need to do your job?
Why, what have you taken? You've taken my phone.
That's correct. Yeah.
You're such a plum. Where is it?
I've hidden it.
Brilliant, thanks.
You're welcome. Kath was in on it.
No.
No, I told you I was doing it, and you went, yeah, go on.
Am I near it?
No.
Is it in your...
Well, I mean...
No.
Is it up high? Don't put it up high.
It's not up high. Well, you would consider it high. I would consider it waist height.
Adult height, if you will.
Yes.
Is it in here?
No, it's not in there, no.
Is it in with you?
No.
No, why would he do that? He's on air.
No. Oh, wait, I'll tell you what we'll do. 08459 455...
You've got my phone.
No, I'm telling the listener.
All right.
We can play Let's Hunt for Kelly's phone. It's a slow news day. 084...
Oh, no, should we give her number out and let them ring?
It's on silent anyway.
077 08459 455 555. Right now, that's Kelly's mobile phone number. You call it and we'll play...
Pwn the phone.
Pwn the phone. Bring the phone home. Kelly's... Smelly's, Bets.
KB phone home.
KB phone home. Bets's box of numbers.
What's the game?
They're gonna phone up.
Yep.
And they're gonna find your phone for you live on air because there's no news worth presenting. There is actually. We've got a busy show, but that's the kind of guy. That's how generous I am. I'm gonna get the listeners to help you find your telephone.
Is it in here?
No.
Is it in that studio?
Might be. Might not be.
Oh.
Might be in that one.
That's what I just said.
I know. Could be anywhere. So it's not in this one. Or is it? 08459 455 555. We're having classic bands. I hope you're enjoying it. They're there now.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25, there's a lane closed on the exit slip road anti-clockwise at junction 21 for the M1 with queues, and that's for the northbound M1. And on the M1 southbound, that's very slow between junction 12 for Flitwick and 9 for Redbourne. It's also busy on the M40 out of London from the Swakeleys roundabout all the way to the M25. And it's busy in Amersham on Gord Hill. It's looking slow from the A413 to the A40 London Road. On the trains, Great Northern have delays between Hatfield and Welwyn Garden City, and also on the London Underground, the Bakerloo line has minor delays between Queen's Park and Harrow and Wilson as because of a problem with the track at Wilson.
Sorry, we're trying to play Find Kelly's phone, and I'm doing the hot and cold.
Oh,
sorry, Sam, have you finished?
Yes, finished. Thank you.
Nice one, mate. Cheers. Go. Well, we may never know her name. Cold.
Is it in something?
Yes. Yeah. A building.
No.
Oh, interesting.
Is it under something?
Huh?
08459
455 555 is the phone number. 8:15. It's Tuesday, the 2nd of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police needs a new chief constable after the announcement that Colette Paul is stepping down from the job. Tributes are being paid to the former Liberal Democrat leader Charles Kennedy, who's died at the age of 55, and it's being claimed that long shifts are putting the lives of ambulance drivers in Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire at risk. 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Breathe into it.
I can't breathe.
Getting older.
I know.
I was hosting an event last night, and it dawned on me, I'm fat, I'm old, and I'm really unfit. Just getting up and down the stage, it was such hard work. And I was presenting with a young American lady who's got to be like 23 or something, and she was bouncing all over the place. I'm like, whoa, just hold on a second, I'll catch you up in a minute. It was awful.
What happened to your personal trainer? What happened to your personal trainer?
Don't know. What's he talking about?
I can't remember.
No, I don't think that was a...
What?
I don't think that happened.
What, when you went in your fit stage?
Sorry?
With your personal trainer?
I don't know what you're... man, you've outed me, haven't you? You just outed me on air.
What happened?
I got bored.
What?
I didn't like it. They make you work so hard. It was horrible. I was sweating and wanted to throw up, and I had to pay her for that. It was horrible.
You sacked your personal trainer?
Yes, I did. I sacked her off. I say sacked her, I just stopped going.
Right.
And ignored her phone calls.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did, mate.
Did you?
She was fierce. She could have totally killed me. She was vicious. So that ended, and it ended badly. It's not a period of my life I'm proud of. I wanted to talk about, so thanks.
Oh, sorry. I noticed you've gone a bit quiet about your personal training and your fitness, but
I made the mistake of talking about it to people
on air.
Yeah, I should have kept that secret, and now everybody knows. I couldn't hack the pace.
Well, that's okay.
The pace was very pacey.
So, are you doing any kind of exercise, or?
Well, I'm going to have a little sleep later on today, so that's quite exhausting for me. No, none of that. I just need to eat better and do something.
It's mainly diet.
Yeah,
it's my problem, and booze.
Oh, it's a bit of a boozer.
I know.
What have you got on your show today?
Well, we're going to do this dog story, this local dog story today. And,
yes.
and the reason why we're going to do it, it ties in very much with the story. I'm sure you will have heard it. I know you're an avid fan of my Consumer Hour.
I love it.
An issue that we've been dealing with in my Consumer Hour. We're going to discuss from 9 this morning if you agree with councils that insist that dogs are kept on leads. More than 3,000 people have responded to a consultation in the Three Rivers District Council area as the executive decides whether or not dog owners should be told to keep their animals on leads. Well, if this takes place, this will be the latest council to move in this kind of direction. Already we know in central Bedfordshire there are designated public areas where as a dog owner you're not allowed to let your dog off a lead. Bedford Borough Council, they certainly seem to be moving in that direction as well. But is that fair? Is that reasonable? I bet you're one of those people who thinks dogs should be kept on a lead all the time.
No, I think in No. I think if you're walking down the street, then yes. But I mean, we used to have a dog. We used to take her over to the fields near us, Burnham Beaches, and we'd let her off the lead. I think that's kind of acceptable. I don't think they should, near kids, like playing areas, they should probably be on a lead. But big open fields, go on, girl.
Well, that's interesting because, of course, you would not be agreeing with some of these councils now that are designating parks and entire open spaces completely dog on the lead.
I think that's a little unfair, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Yeah, and I don't even like dogs.
Very well, that's why I thought you were going to say, I think dogs should be kept on a lead 24 hours a day.
I mean, it's been a long time since I had a dog. We had a Cocker Spaniel, and, one of her joys was being let off the lead and running around and going crazy. And if we saw there were kids near, we'd be sensible and put her back on the lead. You can't exercise a dog on a lead, can you?
How refreshing.
There you go, you see.
How refreshing. Well, from 9 this morning, we'll debate this. Do you agree with councils that insist that dogs are kept on leads? Your views, 08459 455 555 from 9.
Get ready for BBC Music Day across the BBC.
This Friday is the first BBC Music Day. It's a day of celebration, bringing people together through music. You can join in with one of the live performance events, watch and listen on TV and radio, or share your musical stories online. A day of special musical events across the UK and on the BBC. For all the details, search online for BBC Music Day.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
That's the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. If you don't, well, you don't have to. We really don't mind. Hey, I'm glad that are we doing this story? Are we doing a collect, Paul? Or are we going to? No, we're going to do this. Okay, fine. We're going to the newspapers and do this because I'm glad the French are doing this. The French are doing something good for a change. There's this fashion has started, this trend, and I saw it in Copenhagen about 5 years ago, right? The first time I'd seen it, and it's kind of sprung up everywhere. And everyone goes, oh, isn't it charming? Isn't it sweet? Isn't it cute? No, not charming, not sweet, not cute. It's this thing of lovers putting padlocks on bridges. Oh, for crying out loud. Lovers putting padlocks on bridges to celebrate and signify their love. You make me puke. It looks flipping awful. It looks common. It's vandalism. The padlocks that adorn a bridge across the Seine are to be removed because their weight is putting the 19th century structure at risk. Yesterday, workmen in Paris started removing the hundreds of love locks. They're not. Do you know who came up with the idea of doing this? Steve Yale. Don't know if that's his name, but you go to those bridges and there are loads of market traders selling padlocks at an inflated price. 15 quid for a padlock? Jog on, fella! It's the end of the padlocks, says Deputy Paris Mayor. They spoil the aesthetics of the bridge. Oh, well done, you. Are structurally bad for it and can cause accidents. Oh, I don't know about that last bit. The existing railings will initially be replaced with panels covered in street art. Dearie. They're horrible, those things, aren't they?
Yeah, horrible. I hope they all break up.
The best one I saw was in Copenhagen. It was a big one, right? So they're all like normal padlock. There's a big one. Tough guy. And it was...
What's he hiding?
No, hang on. I can't remember the fella's name. Oh, yeah. from Chris de Burgh to all of his fans. Thank you for our very special love. Now, if a pop star from the 70s and 80s uses the phrase special love these days, you know what I mean? I smell a court case. But I just thought, it was massive, this padlock, and you thought, that was disgusting.
Overcompensating.
And they put these... It's horrible. It's really... It looks
It's wrecking the bridges as well. The bridges of Paris are beautiful.
Yeah. Annie's in Milton Keynes. Morning, Annie.
Morning, Ian.
What have you got for us?
I'm absolutely fuming.
Hey, why is
about
that?
the BGT.
Oh, now listen, they've got... Listen, we recognise them now as a gender.
It was absolutely disgusting.
Oh, you mean Britain's Got Talent? Sorry, yes.
Cheated all the people.
Who? The magician? That's not real magic.
No, not the magician, the dog.
Why?
Because the dog was a stunt dog. It wasn't the dog that everybody voted for.
What do you mean it was a stunt dog?
It was a stunt dog that did the trick. The Matisse wasn't Matisse, it was another dog.
But there were two dogs doing tricks?
There were 3 dogs altogether. It's in the paper this morning.
Well, then give them 3 times the prize money.
Well, I think it's disgusting.
What? But I don't understand why you think... You saw a dog climbing on a rope?
Yes, and it wasn't Matisse.
Why does that matter?
Well, because it cheated the people.
What?
The people thought it was Matisse.
But how was... You saw a dog climbing on a rope, yeah?
Yes.
And were you happy with that?
It wasn't climbing on a rope, it was walking on... It was doing a stunt.
Right, but you saw it... Excuse me eating. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit lightheaded. No, I know, it's really rude. I'm a little bit lightheaded, and someone's having a bit of chocolate.
You're all right, Ian.
Thank you, my darling. But you saw a dog walking on a rope?
It wasn't. It was a tightrope trick.
Yeah.
It was done supposedly by Matisse.
Yeah.
That was the dog everybody was voting for.
Annie, did you see a dog walking on a tightrope?
Yes, and it was wonderful.
Beautiful. Yeah, great. Well, then
but it was cheating the people.
But
the
it was
people
right,
were thinking it was Matisse.
If it had a harness, then I would agree with you.
Well, it wasn't told that it was another dog.
But why does that matter?
Well, it does matter because it's cheating the people.
But why? This is what I want to get to, Annie. Why does it matter?
It matters because they were cheating. The people thought it was Matisse.
But where's the cheat? You saw a dog walking on a rope, and
Yes,
if that made you happy.
But it wasn't Matisse, the dog everybody was voting for.
But why does that matter?
Because it matters. It's cheating the people.
But I don't understand why it's cheating.
It's cheating. It should be disqualified. That young fella that was singing was the best on that show.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for... Isaac, the young fella.
Isaac. Okay,
he was wonderful.
So you're upset?
Yes, I am. I'm fuming.
You're upset that Isaac, the one you voted for, got beaten by a dog, basically.
No.
Yeah?
The choir got beaten by the dog.
Who's Isaac then?
Isaac's a young fella of 15. He was wonderful.
Did he get beaten by the dog?
Yes, well, the other 2 got beaten by the dog.
I didn't see it. I don't know who these other 2 are.
Oh, well, you have to watch the programme because everybody was cheated that night.
You're furious, aren't you?
I am, and it's in the paper this morning about it. Simon Cowell's going crazy. He didn't even know that wasn't the dog.
Annie. Simon Cowell manages that show within an inch of his life.
Yes,
he knew exactly what was going on.
Well, he said in the paper he didn't know nothing about it.
If it's in the paper, it must be true. He knew everything about it.
And I love that programme. I watch it all the time religiously.
What's your message to Simon Cowell?
Simon Cowell, well, he should have told the people. Even the trick about the helicopter, that was a pure trick.
Hang on, what trick about the helicopter?
About the magician that made a helicopter come onto the stage without nobody knowing.
Yeah, it's a magic. You're like Justin Dealey saying if magicians can make cards into £20 notes, why aren't they millionaires? Magic is magic. Magic is literally a trick.
Yes, but it was an illusion. It was, but it just they cheated the people.
Magicians do, yeah. Annie.
And as you say, there's nothing else on the telly. We have to watch it.
You don't have to watch it. You can turn off.
I love the programme.
Have you got someone that you live with?
Yes, I have.
Well, you could have turned the telly off and had a conversation with them.
No, I wanted to watch the
You could have made mad,
I
passionate love.
No.
Read a book.
Ian, you missed out on it. You got to watch it.
Well, I'm glad I didn't because I would have woken up furious.
Like me.
Yeah, I don't want to be angry like you, Annie.
I'm not angry no more, but I think
Have you let it all out?
Disqualified that dog.
Okay, shall we shoot the dog?
No, it's a wonderful dog.
Which one? There are 3 of them. Let's shoot one of them.
Yeah, well, the one with 1 leg. There was a dog with 1 leg. He was wonderful.
Oh, no, give it cut the other leg off and give it a wheel. Hang on, the dog only had 1 leg.
No, he had 3 legs. It was called Skippy. Obviously, you never even watched the programme. You're on a different planet.
No, I'm not. I'm on.
Everybody's been watching it.
Not everybody.
Nearly
Let me take a straw
everybody.
poll. Kelly Betts, did you watch LGBGT?
Nope.
Catherine, did you watch LGBGT?
Nope.
There we go.
Oh, well, you're busy, you lot, up there in the station, but...
Hardly. I wish.
Everybody else has been watching it.
All right.
I'm just fuming.
Annie, let it go.
I will let it go. The dog was wonderful.
Which one are we going to shoot? The one with one leg?
No, it was gorgeous.
The cheating
one that did the stunt.
Okay, so we're going to shoot Chase.
I don't know what his name was, yes, but Matisse was beautiful.
Annie, lovely to talk to you.
Thank you, darling. God bless you.
Ta-ta. 08459 455 555. If you're as angry as Annie, then give us a call. Thank you, Annie.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 has delays anti-clockwise because of the extra slip road having a lane closed at junction 21 for the M1 because of a breakdown, and the M1 is busy southbound from junction 10 for Luton Airport for 9 for Redbourne. Also on the M40 out of London from the Swakeleys roundabout towards the M25 there are delays there, and in Amersham on the speed sensors Gore Hill is busy between the A413 and the A40 London Road. There are still delays on Great Northern services between Hatfield and Welwyn Garden City because of a signalling problem earlier. And on the London Underground, the Bakerloo line has minor delays between Queen's Park and Harrow and Willesden, and that's because of a problem with the track at Willesden Junction. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
I've just seen Justin Dealey's tweet. This lady's perspective is out of control.
I've heard the Vox. It certainly is.
Oh, gosh.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines. The Chief Constable of Bedfordshire Police has announced she's retiring just 2 years into the job. Colette Paul says that after 33 years' service, she wants to spend more time with her family. The former Liberal Democrat leader Charles Kennedy has died suddenly at his home in Scotland. He was 55 and an MP for 32 years before losing his seat in the general election. And it's being claimed that ambulance staff in Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire are so overworked they're falling asleep at the wheel. Their union Unison says its members are scared about making clinical errors and causing accidents due to tiredness. The weather will be cloudy with rain this morning, turning brighter this afternoon but still windy, with top temperatures around 19 degrees Celsius. That's 66 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England's cricketers will resume on 44 without loss in the second test against New Zealand, needing 455 to win. There's pressure on batsman Iain Bell to perform after scoring his 22nd test century against the West Indies a couple of months ago. But despite his past performances, Geoffrey Boycott says Bell isn't undroppable.
When you've got runs in the past or got wickets, you get some leeway because we know you can do it. But there comes a moment, and this is where you have to assess it in the dressing room. Is he in the right frame of mind to get runs? Whether he's so flustered and nervous that you think, I don't think if it gets tough, he's going to get runs. And when it gets like that, you've got to say, sorry, I got to get somebody else, whoever it is.
In tennis, Andy Murray has spoken of his pride after extending his run of Grand Slam quarter-finals to 17. Murray beat Jeremy Chardy in 4 sets at the French Open, and it's been 5 years since he went out any sooner than the last 8.
Unfortunately, guys make some of the things that I've done look pretty average because of how good they've been. You know, Roger went through a period where he was making Grand Slam finals consistently, and then in comparison to that, it's nothing. But in terms of the history of the game, there's not loads of players that have been that consistent at these events. So, yeah, that's something that I look at and I'm very, very proud of.
The defending women's champion Maria Sharapova has been knocked out, but top seed Serena Williams fought back in her match to win through to the quarter-finals. And in football, Liverpool are set to hold talks with Manchester City's James Milner this week as they close in on signing the midfielder on a free transfer. BBC Three Counties News and Sport, more at 9 o'clock.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Haas and Benford Incorporated. We're gonna do it. Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way. Nothing's gonna turn us back now. Straight ahead and on the track now. We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing
Simon Cowell, and all kinds of nonsense. But let's crack on with this. On Friday's show, we heard from Bianca Stacey from Aylesbury, 7 months pregnant and facing eviction. She and her partner have been given until today to leave a house they share with 8 others because children aren't allowed. Well, as you can imagine, very stressful times. But a statement that we received from Aylesbury Vale District Council offered a ray of hope. Or so we thought. Bianca's back on the line. Morning, Bianca.
Hiya.
I'm not sighing because I've got to talk to you. I'm sighing because this is just, it's so frustrating. Now, so you're going to get kicked out of your the place you're in today because children aren't allowed. And on Friday's show, the council gave us a statement saying that you should stay in the house until the landlord got legal papers. And they also said, quotes, nevertheless, the council will make temporary accommodation available from June the 2nd if required. That's today. You mentioned that to the council and they denied ever having said that. Is that right?
Yeah, they said they weren't sure where the email had come from or who had written it. Unfortunately.
Fun times. Okay, well, you kind of cleared it up. We gave you a name and you got in touch and it was all... Hopefully it was all going to be sorted. Today is the day you get booted out. Today is the day that the council have said they will make temporary accommodation available for you. What's happened? Where are we?
Well, I spoke to them again yesterday, a couple of times, and we ended up going to where they have the emergency accommodation, and we had an hour-long meeting with someone up there, and they gave us the keys to a room, which is good.
Hey!
Yeah, so we went up, had a look. I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but it's not the best.
No.
My partner went up there, gave it a deep clean for about 4 hours. And we can move in today to there temporarily.
And that's the thing. It's not going to be ideal, is it? And you accept that.
No, but it's temporary, so...
Exactly. Oh, that is brilliant. I didn't know that was the result. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but I don't think if it wasn't for you guys, I don't think I would have got anywhere.
Well, do you know what? When we heard this story last week, this has been playing on my mind all weekend because I know that, when you're having a kid anyway, it's a particularly stressful situation, and then to be faced with being homeless, I'm so pleased. Well, I'm going to bite my tongue. Well done, Aylesbury Vale District Council. There was obviously some confusion and a little bit of miscommunication.
Yeah.
So what's the plan, Bianca? You get to go. You going in there today? Are you?
Yeah, today we get to move all our stuff in.
Brilliant. Okay, and then what's the long-term plan?
Well, I think we're there for probably a few months, and then get to hopefully move into somewhere more permanent. If all goes well.
Will you let us know how it goes? Let us know how the baby goes, and let us know how the potential, move further down the line goes.
Yeah, well, I will.
I'm so pleased for you, for all three of you. Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you very much to everyone who works for you as well.
Nice
Getting
one.
everything for me.
Listen, it's an absolute pleasure, Bianca. Well done. Congratulations. And I hope that the birth is as smooth and as happy and as they should be.
And less stressful as this has been.
Well, mate, listen, the stress is only just beginning.
Oh,
you wait till you bring that baby home with you. That's when it starts to get hard work. Bianca, I'm really pleased. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take care. Ta-ta.
Bye.
There we go. That's a nice end to a story.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. Really pleased.
It's so easy, isn't it, to have a pop at someone in that situation? I don't know why, but people, having a pop, well, you shouldn't have had a baby, well, you should... But, well, that's the situation they found themselves in, and it is desperate. What a desperate situation. Well done, Aylesbury Vale District Council, for clearing up the miscommunication.
Yeah.
And thing is, as well, she sounds like she's not one of those I want, give me. No. She's like, it's not ideal, but we know it's temporary and we're really grateful for it. Beautiful. The fellow went round, did 4 hours hard work cleaning it all up. Beautiful. That's what it's all about. They are going to make cracking parents, aren't they? Well done. Morning, Justin.
It's all about being beautiful.
It's all about being beautiful today, isn't it?
Horrible day out here.
Oh.
Disgusting.
Mate, don't bring the vibe down. We're having a great time here.
No, I mean, the band's on the streets, it's great, but the weather is just vile. It's horrible.
Okay. I'm worried about this next package. I'm worried about your package.
You should be.
This is... Okay, this is the story. Davina McCall. I mean, really. And I've met Davina, and I really had to just keep myself in check.
Yeah.
Hi, Davina, it's nice to meet you. I've got a massive crush on you. I have done ever since you used to present God's Gift at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Did you say to her, thanks for the shows?
I'll get lost,
I really
Dealey.
liked you in God's Gift.
I'll get lost, you lot.
Great show.
I like to offer comps to people that where it's deserved.
Yeah, but come on, make them decent comps.
Mate, all right, what would you say to Roger Daltrey that's better than I like the music you did with The Who?
OK, I would say to him, Roger, I've always been a big fan of your music, but your music means a lot to me.
Oh,
because hang on.
Here we go.
Because when I was growing up, all of my mates, OK, they were listening to things like Gina
Gone,
G.
Mate. He's gone.
No,
he's
not.
off. He's off. He's walked off. He's gone off to do Live Aid or something.
He's still in the room, and I'm saying Gina G, Ooh Ah Just a Little Bit. I wasn't listening to that. I was listening to you with My Generation. And he would go, wow.
No, he wouldn't. Do you know what he would have done? About 10 seconds into that, he would have rubbed his right ear with his thumb. Do you know what that means?
What's that mean?
Security, come and get me. I'm talking to a nut job.
So you think what you said, thanks for the music.
In and out. I don't want to waste his time. I just want to let him know he's appreciated.
Okay.
In and out. When I met Roger Daltrey, I was in and out.
Good for you.
It was a mercy dash. Roger, you're great. I'm off. That's all he wants.
It was beautiful. It was a great moment.
It was a great moment.
Didn't you actually say I really liked you in The Who?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought I said I really liked the music.
No.
Was it I really like?
No.
All right, I really liked you in The Who. Boom. Okay. Right. He knows what I'm talking about. He knows I'm not talking about his acting career. He knows I'm not talking about his. What was that noise?
Do you know what? I just think you're very sweet, actually. I do, and I mean that genuinely. You know, somebody who's been at the very top of their game.
I've got it.
And when you meet somebody
I'm
like
still at the top
that,
of my
you
game.
go all shy. Very cute.
What did you say when you met Roger Daltrey from The Who? And herein lies the answer. You haven't met Roger Daltrey from The Who, Justin. You're a little bit jealous. He's well gel, girl.
No, I'm not
He's
gel.
well gel.
And I'll tell you why I'm not gel.
I can smell the well gel. Hey, what's that you use in the shower? Is it well gel? Yes,
he was
mate.
there, and I thought, do you know what? He's already had one plonker come up to him. He doesn't want somebody else wasting his time, so I just left you to it.
Okay, mate. All right.
I shook his hand and didn't say anything.
There you go, you see?
That's even worse.
Straight up. No,
What,
he
shaking
loved
his
it.
hand and not bothering
That is
him?
outrageous, because, that's a bit
That's
rude.
disrespect.
No,
That is
he
lack
loved
of
it.
respect.
He still talks about it now.
That's
He
lack
loved
of respect. That's lack of respect, actually. That's very disrespectful. That is, I mean...
It's not on.
He was good in The Who, though, wasn't he?
He was brilliant. And the thing is, he was... But, OK, I thought you were good in The Who. Take that sentence, deconstruct that sentence. What's wrong with it?
You were talking to Ronnie Wood.
Ronnie Wood, one of the most irritating men I've ever had the misfortune to be in the same room as. What's wrong with me saying to Roger Daltrey, you were good in The Who?
Well,
it's
it leaves
factually
out-
correct. He was great in The Who.
Kind of leaves out the rest of his career. He's quite old now, isn't he? He's done a lot of other stuff.
Justin, Davina McCall.
No, that's not the question.
You must keep your husband satisfied in the bedroom department. What, of John Lewis? They'll kick you out for that. Trust me, I found out the hard way. Even if you're absolutely exhausted. Otherwise, he will go somewhere else. Yeah, Catherine has just displayed how that could work. Justin, you took this to the streets, didn't you?
I have, and you should be worried. I'm in Hemel
This has been
Hempstead.
checked, hasn't it? Catherine, this has been checked, this audio, hasn't it?
Yeah.
OK, fine, OK.
Can I just double check as well, because I'm looking to move very soon. Kelly, have you put a bleep in where I asked?
Yes.
Yes, OK, thank you.
There is a bleep in it. OK, we're fine.
excellent.
Yeah.
So I'm in Queen Square, Adeyfield, Hemel Hempstead, the classy ladies of Hemel, and we've been here asking the question this morning: how do you keep your man happy? Here's what happened.
All the ladies in the house. Yeah. The ladies.
The ladies'
Perspective with Jamie Lee. Across beds, hards and bugs.
I love my
The ladies.
Yvonne, it's our Ladies' Perspective special here on the streets of Hemel Hempstead. How do you keep your man happy?
Feed him with chili.
Chili?
Yep.
Can I just give you a fact?
Go on, then.
Okay. The easiest way to disguise poison is in chili.
I've no intention of poisoning my husband, thank you very much. It keeps me very happy.
Yeah, just a little fact. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Michelle. LPS, Ladies' Perspective special. How do you keep your man nice and happy, nice and sweet?
I'm a in the bedroom, a chef in the kitchen. That's it.
Wow. Wow. Thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Cheers. Goodness me. How do you keep your man happy?
Well, when I met him, he was a mummy's boy. He had no money, loads of debt, so he squanders off me. So basically a housewife.
So you keep him happy by giving him all your money?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. Lucky guy.
He thinks so.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Hey, madam, what's this in your hand here?
It's a hot dog.
Wow, that is long, isn't it?
It is very long, yeah. Longer the better.
OK, so we're talking this morning about how you keep your man happy. How do you keep men happy?
Keep him well fed.
Yeah?
Yeah, plenty to eat. The food is the way to a man's heart.
But what if they become fat, though? Do you then go off them?
Plenty sex.
OK, thank you.
The ladies' perspective with Iain Lee across beds, hearts and bugs. Who's the ladies? The ladies.
Yes, mate.
The ladies.
Goodness me, and I have to say, those were the ones that I could actually use. I've got a whole host of little clips here, which can never be used on radio. Hashtag the ladies of Hemel.
Dave on Twitter says, forget Matinee and BGT, there's only one winning dog, and that's the J-Dog.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your time.
Ta-ta.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That's it. We're done.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25, there's a lane closed anti-clockwise at junction 21 for the M1 on the exit slip road, and the M1 northbound has a lane blocked on the exit slip road to the roundabout at junction 14 for Milton Keynes, and that's because of a lorry fire. In Hemel Hempstead on the A41, that's really slow southbound between the Hemel Hempstead turn-off and the M25. Also in Luton on the A505 Vauxhall Way, that's slow southbound from Hitchin Road to Crawley Green Road, and it's also on the trains. Chiltern Railway have delays between Warwick Parkway because of a problem with the train, and also Great Northern still have delays between Welwyn Garden City and Hatfield because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. Suddenly it's 8:45. Where did the show go? Man alive. It is 8:45. It's Tuesday, the 2nd of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police needs a new chief constable after the announcement that Colette Paul is stepping down from the job. Tributes are being paid to the former Liberal Democrat leader, Charles Kennedy, who's died at the age of 55. And it's being claimed that long shifts are putting the lives of ambulance drivers in Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire at risk. 08459 455 555. Do you feel cheated by the fact that it wasn't the dog you thought it was that was on a rope? It's still a dog on a rope, isn't it? And what do we do to get rid of Simon Cowell? Your calls after the weather with Kate.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's rather windy outside this morning. The Met Office has a yellow weather warning in place. Gusts of 40-50 miles per hour, entirely likely and possible through the course of the day. We've got a bit of drizzle out there at the moment as well, particularly down through parts of Hertfordshire, but that will disappear. It will dry out this afternoon, and we'll get some brighter weather. We may even see the sunshine by the time it sets, just gone 9 o'clock tonight. But the wind is going to stay with us. It's going to stay breezy. Maximum temperature today, 19 Celsius. Overnight tonight should remain predominantly dry, but we're also hanging on to the breeze. Minimum temperature down to around 9 or 10 Celsius, so reasonably mild. It's a better day for Wednesday. Drier, brighter, the wind is less, there'll be more sunshine, and the temperature will feel the full 19 Celsius is his, and that's your forecast.
Every weekday from 3. Local stories.
People in Watford are being urged to celebrate their local heroes by creating a postcard in their honour. In other local news, rugby fans are being warned to watch out for fake World Cup tickets.
Roberto Peroni.
Now, a metal detectorist has discovered an archaeological find in a field near Royston in Hertfordshire. Taxi drivers in Luton are demanding to be allowed to drive in bus lanes at all times. There is to be a new station at the Leighton Buzzard narrow gauge railway.
Roberto Peroni. Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio. This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
OK. Well, someone else who's furious that they saw a different dog on a rope as opposed to the dog they thought it was is Robert. Good morning, Robert.
Hello.
Robert, you wanted to talk about Britain's Got Talent, is that right?
No, the bedroom sex, actually.
Oh.
That's what I told the
Oh, no, my mistake. No, sorry, it does say that on the screen. That's come from nowhere, apropos of nothing. Excellent, Robert. What would you like to say?
Right. It's basically the bedroom tax, right? What I wanted to know is how do these people analyse if you're actually eligible for a bedroom tax on the size of the room? Because I have a small room, well, it's classed as a box room.
Right.
It measures 8 by 6.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, it's not really big enough for an adult, but small enough for a child.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's a boiler room because it has a gas boiler in it.
Right. Could you fit a bed in there?
You just about.
It's a bedroom.
But you couldn't move.
Well, it don't matter. That's a bedroom.
That is a bedroom.
Yeah.
But I thought if it's a boiler room, would it be, unwise to put somebody in where a gas boiler is?
No.
It wouldn't?
No.
Right, okay.
It's a bit. Yeah, I'm assuming, Robert, that you're being charged the spare room subsidy, are you?
Yes.
And you're unhappy with that?
Yes, I think a lot of people are, actually.
Yeah.
It's caused a lot of hardship, especially mainly for disabled people, where I actually live in Papworth,
Yeah.
People have had to downsize, but those rooms that they had were for medical equipment, But they didn't take that into consideration when they brought in the bed tax, so...
Why is it playing on your mind today, Robert? Because this obviously has been around for quite a long time. Has something happened in the last few days or something?
No, I have put in complaints about it, like many people have, but to no avail, So I just thought on the spur of the moment I'd like to talk about it. It's
fine. It's one of those things that has got people very upset. I think in principle it's not a bad idea. If people have got spare rooms, then there are families that are crowded into 1 or 2 rooms, and it seems fair to kind of with social housing to kind of move it around a bit. The problem is there ain't enough social housing for people to move around a bit.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that was the downside. That was the flaw, and the country had the option to vote in a different political party that would have got rid of the spare room subsidy, and they chose not to.
That's right. Yeah, precisely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you upset by the dog on Britain's Got Talent, or is that not a thing for you?
I didn't actually see it.
Good for you. Good for you. You've got good taste, Robert. I appreciate your call. Thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555. We had the chance. It was about 3-4 weeks ago, wasn't it? They had the chance to get rid of the spare room subsidy, and the country decided not to. So that's that.
Back to dogs.
Hello there.
Phil's got beef, or rather pork, with Britain's Got Talent.
Oh.
He said, on the subject of Britain's Got Talent, I seriously doubt that those sausages were real either.
What?
The sausages.
I don't know what the act is. I don't really care what the act is. All I know is a woman pretending to be a police officer and a man pretending to be a dog, but it's a different dog and it's on a rope. You saw a dog on a rope. What's your problem?
Dazzlingly daring.
You saw it dazzlingly daring do's.
Dangerous dog.
Dangerous dogs doing its doo-doos on a rope.
What's your beef?
Call me now.
Helen Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
Never watch BGT, BB, X Factor. I turn the TV off and read a book, listen to music, or have a conversation. I know it's a novel concept, but listening to the caller, I understand that Cal must have brainwashed thousands of people to believe such programmes are worthy.
Get me Dealey. I've remembered this. A story I wanted to mention to Dealey. If he's around, he may be in his car now. I've got a great story for Dealey.
Tell you someone else is disgusted.
Yeah?
Steve.
Go on, Steve.
Just saw a woman drinking a can of Coke whilst driving. I mean, drinking Coke at this time of the morning.
Oh, people do. People have Coca-Cola for breakfast. Yes, those people are normally fat, but it's Diet Coke, so it can't be that.
Tell you, the only time that it's acceptable to have fizzy pop at breakfast time, hungover.
Hungover, or at an airport. At an airport, once you enter the airport, once you get through the check-in, you're in a timeless zone.
Yeah.
You're in it. I've been in, when I used to drink, I've been in an airport and sunk a few beers at 9 o'clock in the morning. Beautiful. So there's something very special about an early morning beer. I mean, it's disgusting.
That's the special thing.
That's the special. There's no special brew. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But it's well, good for those guys. Good for those guys. The reason I wanted to speak to Dealey, and it's a shame if we can't get him. It's fine, but. Because 50 Shades of Grey, of course, the book and the film, we went and saw it, and it was rubbish. Dealey loved it.
He liked the psychological aspect.
That was it, exactly. He liked the psychology of it, right?
That's a direct quote.
This is a book that he might like to buy. Have you seen this?
No.
Okay. After 50 Shades of Grey dominated bestseller lists, author E.L. James must have been wondering what story could next whip up a storm in the literary world. And the answer, it seems, is exactly the same one as before. Here we go. James has written the erotic novel again, but from the point of view of title character Christian Grey. So we're going to get inside his head as he gets inside that lady's head.
I think we're going to be disappointed again, aren't we?
Titled Grey.
Should have been called Grey Matter.
And released on June the 18th, it's a reworking of the book that was made into a Hollywood film. The 50 Shades trilogy has sold 125 million copies. James, listen, she's worth 75 million quid, right? Why would you bother writing a book? I've had a go at it a couple of times. I can't do it. It's really hard. There's so many words in a book. Because you read a book and you don't think that there's so many words in it. But when it's you that's writing the words, it's like, flipping heck, man. There's so many words. Word count is my nemesis. I once spent like about a month trying to write a book, right? And then I turned word count on.
Oh.
I'd done 362 words. It took me ages. James, whose fortune is estimated at 75 million nicker, said Christian is a complex character.
No, he's not.
He just likes a bit of spanky bum bum.
Have that.
There we go. Naughty. And readers have always been fascinated by his desires and motivations and his trouble. But no, they haven't. They just think he's a bit of a plum. Plum duff. You've got any texts?
I've got some...
Oh, go on.
Hang on, let's have a look here. Here's one. This is talking about paramedics again.
Oh, yeah.
OK. We're exempt from working time directive regarding driving regulations. Yeah, someone rang up earlier, or sent us a text message earlier on saying that the hours they're working sound illegal to them, but they schedule trains or something like that. We're exempt from the working time directive regarding driving regulations. As an emergency service, I could drive on blue lights to transfer, say, a maternity case from this area to Stoke-on-Trent, 120 miles. Do the police or fire drive that far? And then, once back in the patch, I get sent to another job. But he says, thanks for the mention.
You're welcome. Now, this doesn't surprise me at all because we've dealt with these kind of deviants on this show. A mum was so terrified... Is that you knocking your microphone?
I think so.
OK, because you've been doing that a lot and I've been ignoring it. A mum was so terrified of the dentist, she superglued her broken teeth back into her mouth. Think about superglue, right? Have they changed it since the 70s? Because superglue, kids were always getting their eyes shut or their hands stuck to their face or stuff like that. And it doesn't happen. And I've used superglue and I've deliberately stuck my finger and my thumb together. You can pull it apart.
It's out of fashion now, that and putting your heads in railings.
I'm reading John Lydon, Johnny Rotten's autobiography. It's a brilliant book, right? And what's charming is he's got so much affection for Sid Vicious. Like, they're really good friends. And do you know how Sid Vicious used to... I mean, this is nuts, don't do this. Sid Vicious used to get his hair all spiky. He didn't know about hairspray or hair gel. So he'd wash it, and then he'd spike it, and then he'd sit and put his head in the oven for 10 minutes and cook his hair.
Don't do this at home, kids.
Don't do that at home, kids. But he'd cook his hair. Honestly, the John Lydon book, I wasn't sure. It's such a good read.
Mind you, Sid Vicious did a lot of things that you wouldn't do at home.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, well, again, it's easy to judge Sid Vicious, right? His mum was a heroin addict, and she would cook food for him, right? Wouldn't let any of his mates have any of the food. She'd cook food for him. And one day he's going, Mum, this food tastes a bit funny. She goes, I'll put a little bit of heroin on it for you. She'd sprinkle I mean, it's an incredible story. Wow. Incredible. I didn't know any of this. Really sad story. Anyway, so I'm going off on a tangent. And Mum was so terrified of the dentist, she superglued her broken teeth back into her mouth. Angie Barlow, 48, carried out the DIY dentistry for 10 years. But she... This poor woman. But she destroyed 90% of the bones supporting her upper teeth.
Ouch.
Sorry?
Youch.
It's like an old-fashioned ouch. Youch. Now Angie has had to spend her life savings on having most of her top teeth removed, thick pins put in, and 12 false gnashes screwed in. The dog walker from Altrincham, Greater Manchester. It's your line, isn't it?
Of course it is.
This is what they do. Well, but this is nothing. I mean, indeed, we still have the picture on the wall, and it will stay here when we move to the new premises as a reminder to anyone of what we used to be, of the great ship BBC Three Counties Radio. We've got the picture of Dealey with that fella from the market who pulls his own teeth out with pliers.
Yeah. With the help of a bottle of vodka.
Anyway, this mum did it.
Don't do that, kids.
Don't do that. Don't put your head in the oven to try and get spiky hair like Sid Vicious. Blimey.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 northbound as a lorry is on fire at junction 14 for Milton Keynes, which has closed the exit slip road at junction 14, which is causing long delays all the way back on the main carriageway from junction 13 for Bedford. And also, because of that closure at the junction 14, if you're going to Milton Keynes, the advice is to leave the M1 at junction 13 if you can. Also on the M25 anti-clockwise, there's a lane closed on the exit slip road at junction 21 for the M1 northbound. And in Hemel Hempstead on the A41 southbound, it's really slow from the Hemel Hempstead turn off towards the M25 at junction 20 for Kings Langley. On the A1M southbound, there are queues from junction 9 for Letchworth to 7 for Stevenage. And on the trains, Great Northern have delays between Hatfield and Welwyn Garden City because of a signalling problem. And also Chiltern Road have delays through Warwick Parkway because of a problem with a train. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. Oh, dear. Kelly, great stuff today, mate. You're learning. Justin, hey, my man. Catherine, must try harder. Back tomorrow at 6. Ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JBS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Tuesday. It's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone In, should dogs be kept on a lead at all times in all public places? This week, many listeners have called me to have their say on Bedfordshire dog owner Lynette, who faces a fine of £50 for letting her miniature schnauzer off the lead in Bedford Cemetery. More on that story later in the show. Well, this morning, we've learnt that Three Rivers District Council have asked residents whether or not they'd like a dogs on leads policy extended to more of the public spaces under their control. More than 3,000 people have responded to the consultation, and dog owners fear the result may further limit where they can let their pets run free. Well, this morning I want to hear your reaction to this. Do you think dogs should be kept on a lead at all times in all public places? Pick up the phone. Come on and have your say on 08459 455 555.
This is the JVS show
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'll take your call in just a second, but first, let's get the latest BBC News. It's 9:01. Here's Lee Agnew.
The former Liberal Democrat leader Charles Kennedy has died suddenly at his home in Scotland. He was 55 and an MP for 32 years before losing his seat in the general election. He became leader of the Liberal Democrats in 1999.
I pledge to you today that I'm going to stand up above all else for social justice. We have to give voice to the disadvantaged and dispossessed.
His predecessor, Lord Ashdown, paid this tribute.
He was one of those very few politicians who was able to reach out beyond the sort of charmed and sometimes ridiculous circle of politics and make contact with people well beyond it. I mean, it's not an age hugely overburdened with either gaiety or good sense, but Charles brought us in that period decency, principle, judgment, and above all, charm and wit.
The Chief Constable of Bedfordshire Police has announced she is retiring just 2 years into the job. Colette Paul says that after 33 years' service, she wants to spend more time with her family. It'll come as a serious blow to the Police and Crime Commissioner Ollie Martins, who recently lost a referendum to raise council tax and provide the force with more officers.